Hello, friends from Fire Reasons. Good afternoon and welcome back to our YouTube channel. As always, it's going to be me in the beginning, Alejandro Villegas. You can follow me at AlejandroVG32. Thank you for coming again. Today, we're going to be talking, of course, about the second game of the NLDS between the Miami Marlins and the Atlanta Braves. We're going to be doing the live commentary along with David Fernandez, Christian Chase, and Ryan Lasner, who are going to be joining us a little bit later today. So it's been a crazy beginning of the series. The Marlins punched early and punched first with 4 runs in a couple of innings, and then the Braves came back with a sixth inning, seventh episode, 6 run, seventh episode that just was enough to beat the Miami Marlins. The first game, a lot of talking about Ronald Acuna getting hit, and then what happened right after the doubles, the consecutive doubles by Marcell Ozuna and Travis Dornot, and then what ended up happening in that inning later in the game, not in that inning because the Marlins reached the seventh inning, winning 4-3, and then the Atlanta Braves got Sandy Alcantara in the seventh inning. The first two guys got a base hit. Riley, Austin Riley with a weak ground ball to second base, and then Ronald Acuna with a sharp ground ball through the middle of the infield. Couple of runners on. Jimmy Garcia came in. Freddie Freeman grounded out with a fielder's choice. It was man on first and third, and then again Marcell Ozuna came with the time run base hit. Travis Dornat then hit a 3-run bomb, and that was 7-4. Another pitcher, James Hoyt, came right after, and he gave up another 2-run shot, and that was it for that seventh inning, and that began that was the first win of the Atlanta Braves, of course, in this series. And today we have the second game of the series with a very interesting matchup between two pitchers that are probably not the best pitchers that we're going to see in these playoffs, but still two young arms that are going to be very interesting to see, especially in the future. Pablo Lopez for the Marlins, Ian Anderson for the Atlanta Braves. And let's talk a little bit about Anderson before, because he's the home team starter guy today. In 2020, Ian Anderson, 3 wins, 2 losses, and a good ERA of 1.95. He only pitched 32 innings and a third. He struck out 41 guys. He's only 22 years old, so he's having his first appearances in the postseason. Last game of the regular season, he faced the Marlins. He gave up. He went out with the loss. I don't know why. I mean, he didn't give up. It was no end runs, but still he lost that game, that matchup. And then in the postseason, he won that game that he faced against that he pitched against the Cincinnati Reds. 6 innings, no runs, just a couple of base hits and a couple of walks, 9 strikeouts that day. Of course, the Reds didn't score any runs, and the Braves ended up winning that series 2-0. So that's going to be the pitcher today for the Atlanta Braves. On the other side, for the Marlins, it's going to be Pablo Lopez, Venezuelan pitcher. Is going to be the second guy going up for the Marlins. He's 24 years of age, 6 wins and 4 losses in 2020, 3.61 ERA, is 57 and one third innings pitched. He struck out 59 batters, and he's a 4.47 ERA MLB, of course. But this is his first appearance in the postseason, so that's going to be very interesting for the Marlins today. That's the pitching matchup for today. The lineups, we're going to go ahead and go through the lineups right away. Corey Dickerson is going to start in left field. He's leading off today for the Marlins. John Verdi will be the 2-hole and playing second base. We also have Jesus Aguilar coming back as a DH, but this time in the 3-hole. Brian Anderson, he's moved up to the 4th hole. He's going to play third base. Garrett Cooper is going to be on first base. This is weird. I don't know why Jesus Aguilar keeps being the DH and Cooper the first baseman. I like Aguilar more in the infield. Matt Joyce is going to be the right fielder and 6th hole. Miguel Rojas, even though he had a good performance yesterday, he's bumped down to the 7th place. I guess Mattingly wants to put Joyce between Cooper and Rojas, and before Sierra, so he doesn't have two lefties come right away. So it's going to be Magneto Sierra hitting eight and playing center field, and Chad Wallach is going to be uh, catching again for the Marlins. He's definitely the starting catcher nowadays in today's lineup for the Braves, for the Marlins. And now let's go to the Braves. The Atlanta Braves are going with Ronald Acuna back in center field, leading off. Freddie Freeman first base, Marcelo Zuna as a DH, Travis Darnot as a catcher, Ozzy Alvis is going to be in second base, Dansby Swanson in shortstop, Adam Duvall is going to be in left field, Nick Markakis in right field, and Austin Riley at third base. The same lineup we saw yesterday for the Braves. In the bench, they have Culberson, Flowers, Pache, and Sandoval. Pache played a little bit of outfield yesterday. We'll see if they use him today. For the Marlins, on the bench, they have Jorge Alfaro, Bruce Brinson, Jazz Chisholm, Monte Harrison, and Sean Rodriguez. And that's the squad for each one of the teams. And we're going to get ready to watch the game because it's about to start at Minute Maid Park. A lot of talk of course, of what happened yesterday with Ronald Acuna cleaning Miguel Rojas sliding on second. That came after the hit by pitch by Sandy Alcantara, the fifth one that Ronald Acuna gets in his personal matchup against the Miami Marlins, and that's of course a little bit upsetting. But what he did yet after that on Miguel Rojas is not a nice thing to do. So we're gonna welcome our friend Christian. Christian, welcome back. We are ready to watch the second game of the National League Division Series. How are you, man?
I am good. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good, good, good. How do you feel about Pablo Lopez going today against this massive offense the Braves have?
Scared. I mean, I think it's natural to be scared of this offense, to be completely honest with you. But if anyone on the mound can do it, it's Pablo. I mean, he's been there. Yes, he pitched in the 29-9 game, but he got out of the inning before like the damage. There was an error that kept him in the inning. Like technically wasn't his fault, and a lot of the bulk of those runs came off, Jordan Yamamoto and I think Josh A. Smith. The, it's a tough situation to be in. I mean, I know the Braves didn't change their lineup. I wouldn't if I were them. Uh, it's going to be fun to see. We see Ian Anderson. He's young. We've beaten him before. He, he is susceptible to you know, the Marlins hitting, and it's going to be a fun game to see. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a blow like a. We just have to prevent what happened in the seventh inning yesterday, and then we put ourselves in a great situation to win.
Yes, so the game's about to start. We went over the Ian Anderson stats this year. Not bad. He just pitched. I mean, he did. Nobody pitched really a lot this year, but he started this year for the Braves, and he had a decent ERA, very good arm, young arm, 22 years old, like Christian was saying, and the game's already started. Corey Dickerson is gonna lead off, so we're going back to our normal lineup against Ian Anderson. Corey Dickerson leading up leading off the game against Ian Anderson. Later today, we're going to be joined by David Fernandez and maybe Ryan Lancer, who's still mad at the at the Marlins for keeping Samuel Canton in the seventh inning yesterday. So yesterday during this live commentary, we didn't talk a lot about Ronald Acuna sliding into Miguel Rojas there. I guess we didn't see it.
I don't even think we noticed. Did we even notice that? I don't remember noticing it.
No, I didn't notice it until I saw the video right after the game, and I'm like, "Whoa, that was really mad." And I'm surprised Miguel Rojas didn't say anything back to Acuna in that particular moment. Maybe he did it after the game. I don't know. I don't know if you know, but they play for the same club back home in Venezuela. Acuna hasn't played there, but they have some sort of relationship there, and it's I don't know. It's weird having one guy going on another like that, and especially I mean Rojas is like one of the nicest guys in the Marlins.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's I know you saw what Acuna posted on Instagram, saying he didn't have to sorry to anybody, and then what he said on Twitter to them, they just hit him because they can't get him out. Just part of what he said. Okay, so Corey Dickerson just struck out. It's a 6 pitch strikeout. He went to 3-2. Battle there, but couldn't catch up to that high fastball. That would have been more four and a base on balls, and he knows it. He shakes his head. It was a high, way high pitch. I think it was like over his shoulder. It's just one of those fastballs that you think that was way up. I think almost at his face. So it's one of those fastballs you think is going to be in the top of the zone, and then it just keeps going up and up. And then Dickerson couldn't catch up to it. So that's the first the first out for the Braves. We have some messages here. Vincent Lasalle says, "Let's go Marlins." Let's go Miami Marlins. Brody says, "Let's go Braves," and Katie says, "Let's go Marlins." Welcome to everybody, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be doing this, trying to do this every day, every game that the Marlins are playing. What happened?
No, just an awful call. Ball was like 3 inches above the zone, and he called it a strike.
It was a high strike. Well, you guys can see it there. It's number 3 in your screen. So that number 3 was called a strike. Right there. Terrible.
What even is that?
Yeah, I know. What happened? I missed the play because I was looking at this. Strikeout too. So 2 strikeouts to begin the game. John Barry goes down with another strikeout. This is, I mean, the Marlins have to put the ball in play. I don't know. I mean, it's still early, but striking out a lot is not going to do anything for them. And that third strike, that was a strike on Barry. That was right there in the zone. But when these type of things happen, when they call the high strike, you expect the low ball not to be called, right? You're like, okay, if it's low, then it's not strike, but it still was. Yeah, a couple of off-speed pitches for Anderson against Aguilar. 1 ball, 1 strike. He just fouled off one of them. I don't know what you think about this, Christian, but I feel like Aguilar is a better first baseman than Cooper. I don't know why Mattingly keeps using him as a DH.
Cooper has a lot more range at first, is what we've been told. I'm not completely sold. I mean, at least we have Aguilar in the lineup. He doesn't seem to be like unhappy about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it seemed weird to me. I thought they were gonna like maybe both play first base and DH, but
nice single there for Aguilar.
Using that right field line, right? They were doing some sort of a shift. If not, that was a ground ball to first base. But we saw it happening yesterday with Austin Riley. He doubled that way, and he didn't even mean to go that way. So it was a fastball outside, and Aguilar just threw his hands at it, and that's the first base hit to Martha. And that's what happens when you put the ball in play. I mean, maybe he's not the hardest ball hit in the game, but it still gives you the chance to get a base hit. And then our hot guy now, Brian Anderson, in the play. So we'll see if he can. Now that he's back with the base hits, we need an extra base now, and a long one because Aguilar's running him first.
All right. 1, 2, 18 pitches for Ian Anderson through one inning. You know, even if he gets through this here, it's a win for the Marlins. That puts them on pace for 5 innings. I mean, just the later we see him get work into counts, the more likely we are to hit off him. I mean, obviously the Braves bullpen has completely obliterated us since we started this year. And when it comes to Ian Anderson, we want to work him deep into the game. We want to get in that 5th inning. We want to have him at like 80, 90 pitches because that's when he'll start making mistakes. We can capitalize. And then also we'll have more innings to eventually get to this Braves bullpen. I think with an extended amount of time, the better opportunity we have to actually, put up more than one run against the bullpen.
And you have Brian Anderson fouling off that pitch, so the pitch count does go up, and that's going to be a 20 plus inning for Ian Anderson. Hopefully, Brian Anderson can get a hold of one here because we need that early spark after what's been happening in this series so far. And now that Brian Anderson is at the plate, Joe Pizarro earlier showing this stat that shows that Anderson is the guy that has gotten hit the most in this series, in this Marlins Braves series since 2018, with 6 hit by pitches, one more than Acuna, counting what happened yesterday, one more than Acuna and Rojas, who are both at 5 with what happened yesterday because they both got hit. So it's just, I guess, the timing of whenever they hit Acuna, it seems like it's right after he hits a homer or something. So that's why he gets a lot of attention. And we know, of course, Acuna is it's much more of a baseball star right now, MLB favorite than Brian Anderson is, of course, at the moment.
Worked into a 3-2 count, 22 pitches in, making the young rook work early, and takes the walk here. It's a really, really good AB from Brian Anderson. He's looking a lot more comfortable at the plate.
Yes, and you know what? If it wasn't for that, I mean, Dickerson swung at a high pitch too, so it could have been 2 walks in this inning already. He's been having trouble leaving the ball way up, and hopefully the Marlins can get to him because whenever a pitcher is not commanding, we saw that the last pitch was trying to be a changeup, and it just never went down. So it's a 2 men on, 2 outs. The favorite situation for the Marlins to score runs with 2 outs and man on score position. And
Mm.
then a good at bat for Gary Cooper to be coming to the plate, huh? Okay, 9 drive to right field, straight to Nick Markakis. So that's the end of the inning. 23 pitches for Ian Anderson, and too bad that this line drive was right to where Markakis was playing. So that's the beginning of the first half. It was just one base hit, a walk, and a couple of strikeouts for Ian Anderson. And now it's gonna come the first Ronald Acuna at bat. Are you ready for this, Christian?
Mm. I say we hit him.
No, I don't. Well, I don't know. I've never seen Pablo actually hit somebody on purpose.
No, Pablo's like the nicest guy I've ever heard ever.
So maybe if the game it's open for some reason, going like, in favor of the Marlins or for the Braves, I don't care. And it's like the 17th or so, and I feel like that's gonna be the moment because they did hit Rojas yesterday, and even after Acuna clipped him in the right leg, right above the knee, so the Marlins might be a little feisty about this.
I would be. I mean that's crazy. I mean what was Acuna's issue? I just don't understand. Like the clearly wasn't intentional. Like
Well,
clearly.
that's it. I don't feel like he thinks that way. I think he sees this way. He got a bomb and then he got hit. That's what he's seeing at the moment. That's why he's so mad about it, and that's why he was pointing 5 because he's been hit 5 times in the series throughout the years. But I agree with you. If you look at the way things were happening, that was not on purpose at all. And even Sandy said it after the game in the post game conference, and Matt English said it today again. It's just the way we're trying to get him inside. That's what's gonna happen. Sometimes, I mean, how many times has
Acuna faced the Marlins so far? So many, and he
Right.
hasn't been hit that often. I mean, it's a lot. It's 5 times, but four. I'm pretty sure 3 or 4 of them are just Jose Ureña. Just
Yeah, it's just Jose Urena. It's more of a Jose Urena an Acuna thing than a Marlins and an Acuna thing.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. All right, so for the Marlins, it's gonna be Ronald Acuna, Freddie Freeman, and Marcel Osuna. This lineup, man, it's just unbelievable. And Pablo Lopez is gonna be getting the ball for the Miami Marlins. We have here the lineup again. Last 6 games for Acuna against the Marlins: 360, 9 for 25, a couple of home runs, and 7 RBIs. That's what Acuna has done against the Marlins. That's the guy they're going to try to game out. And here's the first pitch. Fastball inside, low in the zone, and that's a strike. That's a beautiful pitch right there. And they're going to keep going in and in. You'll see that's the way they're going to work Acuna now.
Yeah.
And let me see.
I
While
mean,
he's
it's the
setting
right
up
thing to
in,
do.
yeah, it's the right thing to do. So that was a changeup right there, but it was still in the inside. And then we are seeing here in the game day that Pablo just struck out Acuna. So it's not true what he said yesterday on Twitter. They don't just struck him out again. So that's 3 strikeouts in 5 at bats so far. So 1 fastball in, changeup in, and a changeup outside. And Pablo Lopez takes care of the free swinger Acuna for the first out of the inning.
And then you get through Acuna and you got 2 MVP candidates. This this lineup is scary, man. And I honestly think Travis d'Arnaud will also be in the top at least 10, 15 in the voting. I mean, he was that good too. So it just feels never ending with this Braves team. Like, granted, they're not really. I don't think they're a World Series team this year. They just don't have the starting pitching for it. You kind of need to go you need to have guys, at least 4 guys that can go 6 innings. And they have 1 guaranteed. I feel like in Max Fried, and he didn't even go 6 innings the other day.
Yeah.
And then Ian Anderson's a wild card, and then I feel like the rest of the guys, you're happy if you get 4 or 5. And especially in a series like this where you have 5 games in a row, it's really hard to look at the Braves and be like, yeah, their bullpen will be that good for 5 games.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like the longer the series goes, it's gonna be more even for both teams. See, that's a sharp ground ball by Freddie Freeman straight to Garrett Cooper, and that's the second out of the inning. That ball was hit hard. Let me see if I can get the exit velocity here. Yes, 107.3 miles an hour.
That was hit hard.
That ball was touched. Yes. So, but that's the second out of the inning. Good job so far for Pablo Lopez. At home, Pablo Lopez 3.1, 2.56 his ERA, and in the road 3-3 with 4.91. Today would be a road game, I guess, but it's more of an alternate side for both teams, even though the Braves are the home team tonight. And we've seen this from Pablo in his last couple of years, right? Pitching better at Marlins Park than whatever he does it outside of Marlins Park, and it's just I don't understand what goes on there, but it's just what it is.
I feel like it's just a comforter, being comfortable. He gets more outings there. It's definitely just a comfort thing. At the end of the day, I think eventually he'll overcome it as he, grows into his own. I'm not really worried about Pablo Lopez. I'm not worried about him here. I think not the nerves. I don't think nerves is what I'm looking for, but the excitement, the energy that you have going into a playoff game, that might override the uncomfortableness that he's experiencing not pitching at home.
Yeah, and it's not the same because he doesn't have the fans there just against him. It's just a neutral side, empty stadium. They're just playing baseball. So I guess this year it's going to be a different. I don't know. It's a different measure. We'll see what happens next year with him if fans are allowed in the stadiums that they should be. Hopefully, coming up soon. So that's a 1-2-3 inning for Pablo Lopez. Fastball inside to get.
Also
Yeah.
interesting to note. Very
Yeah.
good start from Pablo.
Few pitchers, only 13. That was a fastball inside, 96 miles an hour in the hands of Marcell Ozuna. So that's it for the first inning for the Braves. 1-2-3. So it's been a pitching matchup so far. I think the Marlins got a couple of runners on, but the Braves couldn't. And Pablo Lopez struck out Ronald Acuna, and that's also a good thing, right? That has to feel good for Pablo, especially after all that talk and all that's going on. Having that first at bat, just 3 pitches, man. 1 fastball in, 1 changeup inside that Acuna fouled off, and then the changeup outside to strike him out. So very good so far by Pablo Lopez. He got hit hard by Freddie Freeman, who hit it very sharply to first base, but that was it. It was right to where Gary Cooper was, so not a problem for him.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to be to start. I mean, we get through an inning. I think any inning that's scoreless for the Braves we take as a win. It's going to be a hard series to consistently do that in, because I feel like one inning where you make that mistake and you just lose. It's so easy to have those innings. Today, hopefully, ideally, we see Pablo go 6 or 7, and then we go Boxberger. I would argue, I ideally 7 from Pablo, Boxberger in the 8th, Kinsler in the 9th.
Yes.
I don't know what Mattingly's
plan. Yes.
For Yimmy. How many pitches did Yimmy throw yesterday?
We can check it out real quick. Even if if the Marlins are up and this middle of the lineup comes in the 8th, I would bring Kinsler. You know, that's your best arm. We're going best against best, but we'll see what happens at that point, and hopefully the Marlins can be up at that point in the game so late. Let me check real quick. You were asking about Jimmy, right? So Jimmy threw. Let me see here. Jimmy threw a total of only 16 pitches, so he should be available for today. Yeah. It's just that he was hit hard, but he didn't pitch very many.
Hard. Yeah. But I don't think you lose any trust in a reliever after one game, especially after masterful performances throughout the regular season.
Yeah, I will go back to him. He only pitched 16 pitches. Hoyt only had 6, so he should be available as well. Stanek threw 32. He should be out for a couple of days, or probably a day, at least one day. And then for the Braves, Matzek or O'Day only threw 9, so he'll be back today. Matzek only threw 11, so he'll be back today. Smith only threw 8, so he will be back today. Martin was who worked the most in that 8th inning with 26 pitches, and Melson only threw 7. So almost the entire bullpen for the Braves.
Entire pen is back for the Braves. Yeah,
it's fresh. So okay, that was a quick one for that was a foul. I thought it was a strikeout. 0-2 count for Matt Joyce to start the inning.
Yeah, Ian Anderson definitely fighting back here. You know, he had not necessarily a tough first inning, but I would consider a 26-pitch inning pretty tough. I mean, two runners on. Garrett Cooper swung it hard. There's Matt Joyce striking out. So we got 1 down.
Yeah, so that would be the 3rd strikeout of the game so far. 3 of the 4 outs have been strikeouts. And that was a change of right down in the zone, man. He just missed this pitch, Matt Joyce. So that's too bad. We're watching the replay and the changeup, but it's a changeup right down the middle. Well, a little low, but it's still very hittable, especially for a lefty. They love those low strikes. That's where they launch all their big hits. So it's Miguel Rojas back into the lineup. If they hit him here, that will be interesting.
That would
be okay. That's a first strike fastball right in the outside corner, 96 miles an hour. What if today we get like a real pitching duel, the one that we were expecting yesterday, right? Because yesterday with Max Fried and Sandy Alcantara, we were all like, okay, it's going to be a low scoring game. And it ended up being just a home run derby or a fest.
Yeah. And we're not going to win like that. We're not going to win games like that. We're going to win these pitcher duels. And
yeah,
I don't think it's necessarily a question of will Ian Anderson be good enough? Because I do think Ian Anderson will pitch well. I'm not saying he's going to shut us out, but he's a good young pitcher. You know, our lineup has never been that dangerous. We can piece some stuff together. I think it's going to come down to can Pablo do what Pablo does, hopefully consistently, and not fall back into the Pablo we saw in like 2-3 of his outings this year that really increased his ERA.
Yeah, and that's interesting because without Marte, without Alfaro in the lineup does look a little bit weaker, right? Especially those last three going to see. Even though Sierra had a great game last night.
And I don't know if that's consistent coming out of that.
Yeah. So he's not a threat when you look at the lineup. You're like, okay, this is just a regular guy in MLB, and then you go to Chad Wallach, and well, it's
Yeah. If I'm the Braves and I have bases loaded, one out, and I got Sierra and Wallach coming up, I'm not that scared. And there's a lot of stats like MLB posted about it. I was talking about it yesterday, but they ranked the 8 offenses in the division series. So you have the Braves, the Marlins, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Astros, the A's, the Rays, and the Yankees. And the Marlins were 8th out of 8. And I couldn't even complain. Like, you look at all the other lineups, right? The Yankees, obviously we know how potent they are. We look at the Astros, and they've been playing in the playoffs like the Astros have passed, which their lineup has been extremely potent. We obviously know about the Braves, who are just insane. You have the Padres and the Dodgers. Both lineups are like top 5 lineups in the league. And then, I guess the only one that semi even compares to ours, but still overshadows us by a good amount, is the Oakland's lineup.
Yeah.
And that one isn't even that close. Like, we do realistically have the worst lineup in the division series by far. So it's hard to see how we're going to out-hit the Braves. And, if we do beat the Braves, how we're going to out-hit the Dodgers. But again, we were asking ourselves, how would we out-hit the Cubs? And we did. We just kind of out-pitched them, and that's what we're going to need if we're going to make a run.
Definitely. Strikeout for Magneuris Sierra, another changeup, and another strikeout for Ian Anderson. That's 4 in a couple of innings for the young starter of the Braves. Very good performance so far, and he recovers from that complicated first inning that he had. So let me see where is his pitch count right now, because that was actually pretty fast against the bottom part of the lineup of the Braves, and that's what we were saying. I mean, we have to put the ball in play, especially Magneuris Sierra. You have to put the ball in play at all costs with that speed and see if you can create some sort of a defensive situation there. So he's at 37 pitches. So he recovered a little bit. He's still a little over the average for an inning. He's at 37 after 2 innings, but he has been making people to swing and miss and not have hard contact in this first couple of innings. And now it's Pablo time again, trying to face the other part of the middle of the lineup for the Braves, when you have Dornat, Albies, and Swanson coming back up.
It's crazy how you get through the first 3 guys he got through and then has to get through 3 more.
Yes, and that's going to be a constant. And you know what? Chad Wallach is in the lineup today because of that. They need to dominate this offense in order for them to have any type of a chance there. So that's what's going to be. A lot of pitching, and hopefully they can score some runs, and that's going to be the key for them in this series. And seeing the other series, man, it looks like the playoffs are going to be about hitting, right? There haven't been many pitching duels so far. The Yankees and the Rays are just hitting bombs and bombs at Petco Park.
Bombs and
The
bombs. That's
same,
gonna be a very fun series.
yeah,
I watched a lot of those games, and I mean, the Stanton story's great, right? I mean, as Marlins fans, it's good to see Stanton succeed. Because realistically, he could never do that with us. As soon as he signed that contract, we knew it was kind of a done deal as soon as ownership changed over. But it's good to see him succeed in this scenario. I think the Rays are what the Marlins can be in like 2 to 3 years. Because if you look at the Rays, right, they don't have those big names, right? They don't, past. I mean, who's their biggest names? Snell and Glasnow, like they're two starters, right?
yeah.
But like past those two guys, I mean, in the lineup, even, you're looking at what Mike Zunino. I forget how you pronounce that guy's name, but Randy Alcanzara.
No, Rosarena, right? The
That's
king.
Rosarena.
Yes. He's been in that home run derby with Giancarlo Stanton over there at Petco Park. It's been impressive from both of them. I mean, we know about Stanton. He's just huge and he hits the ball hard. Whatever. We know it here in South Florida. But Randy was a bench player last year for the Cardinals, so that's been an impressive jump. And that's the clinical eye that the Rays have, right? They just bring guys that are average and they just turn them into very, very good baseball players. And there's something there. There's some magic there.
Well, at its finest, right? I mean,
yeah.
The Rays are really adapting to that, and they're doing just that. And they're a 1 seed. They're competing against the highest paid roster in the league, right? And I mean, they have a chance. They're 2 games. They're tied at 1. I think if the Rays beat the Yankees, like whichever team wins that series is going to win the AL, right? Because I think both those teams are light years better than the Astros and light years better than the A's. So I think that division series almost determines what we're going to see in the World Series from the AL side. And I do think that the series that is not ours will determine the team we see from the NL side. So
yeah, that's been interesting too. They played last night, and well, that was kind of a low scoring game. That was a 5-1 win for the Dodgers. I mean, watching Dustin May yesterday, he's just unbelievable. Pablo Lopez gets Travis d'Arnaud with a weak ground ball to third base, so that's 4th in a row for Pablo, getting soft contact so far. The same happened with Marcell Ozuna, right, with that ground ball. The only one that hit the ball hard has been Freddie Freeman so far, and it wasn't a ground ball to first. So very good job by Pablo Lopez right now, working the bottom part of the zone, and we'll see if he can keep that same rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking really good so far, right? He's throwing the ball in the zone, but he's locating within the zone, and that's really what we want to see.
Exactly.
Albie squares up for a bunt and then takes a ball. 1-1. This could be that pitching duel you were talking about. I can see it happening the way both pitchers look through 2. I guess 1 1/3 from Pablo, but Pablo looks locked in on the mound. His story is so dope too. I like this. I really like Pablo. I think he's like the best number 3 in a rotation you could ever ask for, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he seems. I mean, that's gonna be his spot, right? If Sixto can be that second guy going forward, and Sandy keeps the rhythm, that's gonna be our third guy, Pablo Lopez, and then we have to figure out who's gonna be 4th. We have a lot of arms coming up. And
we have a lot of young arms for that 4th, 5th slot, but Pablo being 3rd is amazing. I mean, I think one of the best 1, 2, 3 punches we've seen ever, right, has last year's Astros team with Verlander, Cole, Greinke.
Yes.
I think these 3 guys can be on those 3 guys' level in 5 years. I think if you give them the time, that's what we'll look to do. Develop them into pitchers like that. That was an interesting stat they just put on a MLB Network. In his last 3 starts, Pablo Lopez won all 3. He was the only pitcher to do so. And he had like a 1.4, 1.5 ERA in that span.
Another weak ground ball to first base. So that's 3 ground balls. He's getting a lot of ground balls with that changeup. Let's go back and see how many changeups he's thrown so far, because it seems like he's using that pitch a lot in this first couple of innings. He got Acuna on that changeup. He got, I think, Darnell got him in that changeup too. And the same now with Albi. So let's go and see away pitchers here. Yeah, he's thrown 9 changeups. 9 of his 26 pitches so far have been changeups. So a lot of changes in the beginning of the game for Pablo Lopez. Fastballs and changeups, pretty simple, right?
It's very simple, but
yeah,
it gives me a lot. That was a great pitch on Swanson, but it gives me a lot of hope for Pablo Lopez going forward. You'd rather a guy, especially young in his career, be throwing fastball changeups, throwing a lot more changeups than sliders or curveballs, right? Arm issues don't really come, when you're throwing fastballs and changeups. It comes from those lateral moving pitches.
Yeah.
And, for Pablo to be that exclusive fastball changeup guy, I mean, so many guys have made money off that. A lot of money off being just, a changeup, just being able to throw a changeup. It's going to be really, really probably impactful down the road in his career, just as he ages. And at the time, most guys are getting Tommy John. He'll be, still going, which is what we want to see.
Yeah, he's mixing up that changeup with the sinker. We just saw the sinker against Dansby Swanson, who hit a bomb yesterday. That home run by Swanson was a key hit because he gave that couple of runs extra, because we have to remember the Marlins came back in the 8th inning, and it was so different being down 9-4 than instead of 7-4, because if it was 7, the time run would have come to the plate.
And
all right.
And just went deep.
Yes, that was a fastball, I think. Yes, fastball inside, way inside. And that's a home run for Dansby Swanson. Let me check real fast here how far that ball went. And
403.
I think it was a fastball way inside. I didn't think it was a bad pitch at all.
He turned on that.
Yeah. So 403 feet for Dansby Swanson, huh? There you go. Let me see the replay here. It was inside, not bad. Maybe Wallach made a little bit higher. Right? Yeah, it was not a strike. So maybe a little bit higher was what Wallach was expecting, but not a bad pitch at all. You have to be. I mean, just congratulations to Dansby Swanson for getting that ball out. He came off the bat at 101.9 miles an hour. So.
Yeah, respect to Dansby Swanson there. That was
good piece.
A good piece of hitting. I don't think there's anything more to say. It was a good pitch, good swing. Now it's up to Pablo Lopez to respond, and it's up to the offense to respond, right?
Okay, so that was the first hit of the game for the Braves, and it was a surprise. It was a home run by Dansby Swanson. So it's what you were talking about, right? You go through Ronald Acuna, Freddie Freeman, Marcell Ozuna, Travis Darnod, everybody, and then you get to Swanson, and he gets a bomb in 2 strikes. It has to be a little bit frustrating. And he didn't go back to that changeup. Remember, we were talking about how good he has been with the changeup? He didn't use it in that particular count. It was a 1-2 count. He went with the fastball in, and Swanson was ready for it. So props to Swanson for getting that ball out. And now Duval is in a 2-2 count. probably just threw a changeup that was fouled off, and then we'll see what he uses now. Another changeup down in the zone. Those are like power changeups because it's coming at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, tough inning here for Pablo. 3-2 count. This is a big AB. So I'd rather just get Duvall out of it now. And he didn't go, so that's a walk. Oh.
Let me see.
MLB Network had a 3-2 count.
Fastball outside. That was not a strike, I guess. Well, yeah, I thought it was a 3-2 count too. So I guess now it's a full count.
I guess MLB TV had it wrong or something. Okay, at the wall, Matt Joyce makes the catch.
That was a very high fly ball by Duvall. Though these walls look like they're so close, man. I don't know if we're not used to playing at Minute Maid Park, but okay, that was a little bit of a scary hit by Duvall, and it's 1-0 for the Braves after 2. Dansby Swanson just unloaded on one ball, and that's a 403 feet home run for the Braves, and they're winning 1-0 in the second game of the National League Division Series. 38 pitches so far for Pablo Lopez. They're both Anderson and Lopez are about the same right now. 38 pitches, but the difference has been that home run by Swanson. And there's nothing. I mean, I'd rather have, you know what, it's hard, but I'd rather have a pitcher giving up homers than just walking people, because a homer, it's a mistake. That's fine. But once you start putting people on, and once they get a big hit, it's just catastrophic. So 1-0 for the Braves. It's time for the Marlins now. They have to score anyway. That's what they used to tell me in college. You have to score anyway, so one run is nothing. And now it's time for the Marlins to come back to work. It's going to be Chad Wallach, the powerful Chad Wallach is going to hit a homer today. Corey Dickerson and John Birdie, the 3 up now in the 3rd inning for the Braves. For the Marlins, I'm sorry.
Nice little tweet. Dansby Swanson obliterates a Pablo Lopez fastball. Which, he did. That was a swing. That ball was 96 on the inner, not even inner half of the plate. It was 96 inside, and Swanson turned on it. It's just a bomb. I don't have any other words to describe that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's one of those that you know what? That was a pitch right there. It's not a terrible pitch, and it's just good job by the hitter. Props to you. That's it.
Yeah.
Our friend David Fernandez is tweeting out there, so he's watching the game. I don't know if he's working, but he's watching the game.
Bro, no league. He's not working. He's not working. And then Ryan Lasner, he says he's gonna get on as soon as he finishes some work. So okay, they're gonna be joining us a little later in this streaming here. So I'll be here till 3:30 today. I have
Okay, perfect. So that's Chad Wallach hitting for the Marlins. He's already in a 1-2 count. Yes,
Yeah.
1-2 count.
He gets so behind in counts so quick.
Well, because pitcher's just attacking, right? This is the guy you have to attack. Don't get behind in this count.
Yeah, just like why even bother not attacking Chad Wallach? Like, what's the worst thing he does to you? takes like singles. He's just, not much of a threat at this point. I don't know when I advocated for starting Wallach versus the Cubs, and Wallach strikes out swinging. I was all for it, and it ended up working out. The old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is broke, so we should probably fix it.
Well, you're giving up that spot in the lineup in order to trying to get more outs from the starting pitcher. So that's another strikeout for Wallach. That's 5 already for.
Yeah, I don't know what made Ian Anderson go from a normal rookie to just dominant. He's out here lighting fools up.
Yeah, I know. He is one of the best arms in the or he was, because he's already in the majors. In the Braves farms, they had to go to him because they just lost everybody. It was crazy how fast that went on, and now he's here and he's the second guy up, and he's been doing a great job. I mean, he after when he pitched against the Reds, he was just untouchable too. So hopefully the Marlins can figure it out here soon in this game.
Yeah, quick 0-2 count to Corey Dickerson here. 1-2. He has that deceptive over the top motion. It's hard to pick up sometimes where and when the ball is coming out.
Yes.
Corey Dickerson has 8 feet in between his right and left foot when he's choking up on 2 strikes. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. He's not going to get a home run, right?
Yeah. He struggles to put it out of the infield at this stance. He's taking all power away just, to make contact. And I respect it. I think it's the correct play, especially as a leadoff batter.
That's another strikeout. So that's 6 strikeouts for Ian Anderson. We're just watching this guy going through the Marlins lineup. He's Justin Verlander. Another changeup in the outside corner. Great pitch. And even though Dickerson was choking up and with the wide legs and whatever, he still went over that changeup by far. And that's it. Highest drafted pitchers. Yes. So this guy was drafted 3rd in 2016. So there you go. And Wright, who's going to pitch tomorrow, was drafted 5th in 2017. So there you go. That's a little example of what can happen with the arms that the Marlins picked up in the draft in the last couple of years. So hopefully the Marlins can mirror that and have a couple of those guys pitching in the playoffs in the next upcoming years. That would be great, like the Braves are doing right now.
Yeah, for sure.
We do need more offense, though. John Bader grounds ball to third base, and that's it. That's the 3rd inning for the Miami Marlins. 1, 2, 3, a couple of strikeouts, 6 strikeouts in 3 innings for Ian Anderson, and the Atlanta Braves are winning 1-0 now in the 3rd inning of the National League Division Series Game 2. So Ian Anderson just going through the Marlins lineup. It's been, how many pitches is he on it? He had that rough first inning. He couldn't he didn't have the command of his pitches, especially the changeup. And after that, he has been lights out, just striking out almost everybody in the lineup. 6 strikeouts, only 48 pitches after 3 innings. So his rate has been getting better inning after inning. He's used 28 fastballs and 12 changeups. And of those 12 changeups, 5 of them have been swing and a miss. So that's a great whiff percentage right there. 63% of his pitches, of his changeups, have been swing and misses by the Marlins bats so far.
Yeah, he's looking good. It's going to be a tough time to put up runs. But we must to win. And I don't know where we're going to find them. But, we got the top of the order coming up, or I guess 2, 3, 4 going up. If anyone can do it, if anyone can do it, it's those guys. It's just funny to think about how like even the 7, 8, 9 on the Braves would probably bat, and you can pick any guy on the Braves, and they would bat fourth for the Marlins.
Yes, that's true. I mean, like look at it now. It's gonna be Nick Markakis, Austin Riley, and Ronald Acuna. That could be our 3, 4, 5 in our Marlins lineup, and that will be totally fine. And they're just hitting 8, 9, and 1 in the next inning, and that's gonna be Pablo Lopez. Next challenge in the third inning, have to face Acuna again, and has to face Markakis and Riley for the first time in this particular game. Later today, we have 3 games later going on at MLB. We have the A's facing the Astros, trying to save the season. The Astros are about to sweep the A's too, man. What about these Astros? They're getting hot in the right time. They swept the Twins, and now they're about to sweep the Oakland A's. Later, we're going to have the Rays and the Yankees playing the third game of the series, and that's at 7:10 p.m. And the Padres against the Dodgers at 9 p.m. is going to be the second game of that series. That's the full lineup for tonight in baseball, man. I love these playoffs. I know it's hard, especially like looking at the. I mean, we are complaining about the Marlins playing at 2 p.m. Right now, but look at the A's. They're playing at 3:30 p.m., which is 12:30 for them. I mean, they can't even watch the game. They're almost like us. They're in the middle of their workday trying to find a way to watch their guys play.
Is that series in Oakland?
No, that's in Dodger Stadium.
Oh, but the fans you're talking
Yeah,
about.
the fans, yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like wild. I really think these playoffs are really how it should be. Got a lot of baseball going on, which is what we like to see. Just a bunch of really good stuff.
Yeah.
Going on for the sport in general. I remember at the start of not even the start of the season, like I would say a month or two before the season started, every day when I woke up, I'd work out, but I'd listen to MLB Tonight, the podcast. And it felt like every day with Buster Olney, there's just so much dread, so much just like angst going on just because of how poorly everyone, and that looks like it's going to be a double down the line for Nick Markakis to lead off the third for the Braves, but how poorly everyone viewed the relationship between the players and the owners, and how everything was just almost being strongholded from happening, and how quickly that turned into like a season, and not only a season of like experiments, to which the experiments turned out very well. With the 8 teams making the playoffs, they're almost definitively bigger fan turnout next year for teams like the Marlins, the Reds, any team that overcame these expectations, White Sox, stuff teams along those lines. It's crazy how we went from that just situation, like that terrible situation, to such a positive one in such a short amount of time. I mean, there were hiccups like with the Marlins and their COVID cases, and the Cardinals and theirs, but we got more than we could ask for this entire season. So I think we're very lucky to even be watching baseball, and the fact that we get these amazing series with the Braves and the Marlins, who hate each other, the Rays and the Yankees, who aren't fond of each other, the Oakland A's and the Astros, who aren't fond of each other, and the Dodgers and Padres. We literally just have all kinds of rivals going on. Best case scenario for division series, you got literally division rivals going at it. Pablo Lopez strikes out Austin Riley.
There you go.
It's just the perfect set of circumstances, in my opinion, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's been a fun season, and I'm having fun as a baseball guy. I love watching this, and here I look at this MLB Network guys putting all the brawls that have been going on. Oh, who's this guy? Oh, Eliezer also got Ronald Acuna. So it's been 2 times.
Yeah, we forget
Jose
about
Urena.
Hernandez, man. He would have been a great 4 in the playoffs.
Yes, yes. Hopefully in the future he can come back and be part of that rotation or in their relief too. So Pablo Lopez recovers from that double by Nick Markakis, and here's another key at bat against Ronald Acuna. He struck out Riley with the changeup, and he went back with the changeup against Acuna, who just fouled off his own left foot, and that hurts a lot. So we'll see if he can recover.
Doesn't feel. I'm sure Acuna is probably like, "Dang, bro, they did that on purpose. Gonna rush them out."
Ooh, that one hurts because I don't know if it has happened to you before playing baseball.
Oh, it sure
But,
has. Yeah.
but every time you hit yourself right there in the chin, oh man, the chin is just too bad.
It happened more often to me, ironically, on the mound, like when I pitch, because I'm a pitcher only, so most of my experiences on the mound. And there have been like I would say at least 10 cases where like a ground ball back to me, liner back to me, I've been hitting the shin. I remember one game I was like 10 years old playing in like the championship for like a travel tournament.
Yeah.
And in the final, I was in the 5th inning. It was like a 6-inning game. We were like 10 or 11, and I was throwing really, really well. And last inning, I go out there. First batter, I throw it. Liner straight back, hits my shin. I can barely walk. I'm like, oh god, this isn't good. Last inning of the championship. The second batter comes up. Liner to my shin. And I was like, the other shin this time. So now I just couldn't walk. I think luckily I put them away. The second guy I got out, like I couldn't walk, but I like reached out, picked up the ball, and threw him out. But that stuff does not feel good, man. Acuna strikes out here, so
there you go. So that's another strikeout, another changeup low. That has been the pitch to get Acuna to go over, and I mean he's been aggressive all the time. So I understand what they're trying to do. Pitch low in the zone and with slow pitches. So he's overreacting to that movement. That's a great changeup, man. Look at that movement and where it landed. Landed way down, but it went from the middle of the plate to just way down there. And great pitch by Pablo Lopez. So a couple of strikeouts. And here's Envy Freeman. We'll see what he does now with 2 outs and a runner on second base.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman's due. I'm not gonna lie, 1 for 11 right now.
Well, he hit it hard in the first inning. He can hit it hard again that way, and that'll be fine.
Yeah, I'd rather him not come through here. I'd rather him get a double when no one's on base. But he's just due at this point. Yeah, especially him. I mean, we were talking about Brian Anderson, but like Freeman's an even more talented hitter, MVP caliber type stuff. So, 1 for 11 streaks don't last normally any longer for players of his caliber.
True. Okay. It's Pablo Lopez, who's at 52 pitches so far. Man in second. That was another changeup, power changeup, 90 miles an hour for Pablo Lopez. That has been his pitch, man. Let me see. Let's go back to his pitch chart. He's been working a lot with that changeup. He has thrown more changeups than fastballs so far. 22 changeups, 21 fastballs in today's work against the Braves.
I just threw another one versus Freddie Freeman, make it 23. The pitch is on really good today.
Yes, it's working, and that's why it surprised me that he didn't go to that pitch against Dansby Swanson. I know I'm not saying it was a bad pitch. That fastball in was a great pitch, but when they beat you with the pitch that is not working that day, you're like, I should have gone to that one. Especially in a 1-2 count. If it was a 2-0 count when you have to go to the plate and be more aggressive.
Oh wow. An amazing play by John Birdie there. Diving stop, throws him out at first to save a run. Definitely saves a run there for the Marlins.
And a good pick by Garrett Cooper. We were talking about how good Jesus Aguilar is in this type of plays. Garrett Cooper had a good pickup too here because Birdie dives, he turns around 360, throws the ball low and one hop for Gary Cooper to get that out. So very important out because that was going to be the second run for the Braves for sure, running on contact with 2 outs, slow roller to the right side. So that's 3 innings for Pablo Lopez. He's at 55 pitches so far. Look at the changeup count. 25 changeups, only 21 fastballs, 6 sinkers, 2 cutters, and 1 curveball. One of those fastballs ended up 403 feet over the wall in between left and center field, and that's 1-0 for the Braves so far after 3 innings.
Yeah, I mean, both starting pitchers look great. I mean, through 3, that I would consider it a pitching duel. 1 run total through 3 innings. That's it qualifies as a pitching duel. We prefer it 0-0 right now, or 1-0 in our favor, but it's what we're expecting. At any given point, especially next inning, Braves will have the 3-4-5 coming up. It can kind of end poorly for the Marlins very quickly, as we saw yesterday. I mean, we're up that entire game. If you just looked at the score, you'd assume the Braves dominated all day yesterday.
Yeah,
they really only won 1 inning, right? Like they didn't win any other innings necessarily. I think we both put up 1 early, and then we put up 3. They put up 2 in the same inning. So, and then we held them scoreless. We were winning the game, and just 1 bad inning did it for the Braves. So, it's our goal to prevent that.
All right, for the top part of the inning, we're going to have our main part of the lineup, right? For the Miami Marlins, this is a good time for the Marlins bats to come alive. They need some movement. Ian Anderson has been great. 6 strikeouts so far in 3 innings, so that's a great performance for the young guy that's starting today for the Braves. The round pick from 2016, so he's one of those arms that the Braves looked at a couple of years ago, and they were sure that he could get the job done, and he's doing it right now so far with a lot of strikeouts and really not a lot of hard contact. Other than, I think Jesus Aguilar got a base hit, and Gary Cooper had a kind of a hard line drive to right field with a couple of men on. But other than that, it's been mostly dominance by Anderson. It's Jesus Aguilar to start the inning. He's in a 1-1 count already. And here we go, Marlins. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun game here. Gonna be hopefully low scoring.
Hopefully, yes. 2-2 count for Jesus Aguilar. Another foul ball, changeup inside, 88 miles an hour. I mean, Aguilar has been battling. He did the same in the last at bat. He was at 2 strikes, and then he got the only base hits for the Marlins with just throwing his hands and letting a ground ball go through in between Freddie Freeman and the right field line. And now he's battling in his at bat. He's gonna get out, I guess, or I can't see really. It says out or runs because I'm a little behind. It says
he
out.
pops out to Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, fly ball, 87 miles an hour changeup. Talking about changes, Ian Anderson is throwing a lot of changes too. Let me see. I of course not gonna be like Pablo, who's throwing mostly changeups. Right? He is working with changeups as well. Let me see. Let me confirm that. Yeah, he's thrown only 14 changeups, 31 fastballs. but he does get a lot of whiffs in those changeups. 50% of the pitches have been swing and misses for the Marlins hitters. And now it's the time for Brian Anderson. You said he was due for a home run, right?
He is. He is due. Big swing. And he'll double down the line instead. But
There you go.
take it. We'll take it.
That works. So that was a first pitch curveball. He went for the curveball. Ian Anderson this time, and Brian Anderson just rocked that pitch. And the Marlins are on. Man on second, man on scoring position after one out, and it's a time for Garrett Cooper to come on and hit right now. That was a high curveball. I don't know why he went with that pitch. He's been working mostly with changeups and fastballs. Let me see if they saw something in what happened with Brian Anderson. Okay, 7 curveballs so far. So yeah, I mean he's used this pitch and not as much, and no whiffs against the curveball. So they're seeing the curveball pretty well, and he's probably not going to use that pitch often now in the rest of this inning. So we'll see. It's a 1-1 count for Garrett Cooper. Couple of fastballs to begin the at bat. Here in a 1-1, you should be expecting a changeup. Let's see what what they go with. But the way he's been working these hitters, it should be a changeup right now. We'll see.
Yeah, it really has to be a. You'd expect changeup here. He goes fastball away.
Fastball away.
So 2-1 count to Cooper here. Man on second. This is a small ball opportunity. Not necessarily. One out. Man on second. A little tough. We'd rather no outs so we could just hit 2 grounders, score a run. But a 3-1 count to Garrett Cooper here. And then who do we have coming up? Miggy Rowe?
No, they moved him down. So after Cooper, we have our friend Joyce, I think. Let me confirm. Yes, it's Matt Joyce, and then Miguel Rojas and Magneuris Sierra. So, but we'll see. 3-1 should be. I mean, he should be hacking here. We'll see if Cooper can turn this table around. Let's see.
He was hacking all right. Fouls it off though, 3-2 count.
I'm just seeing that pitch. It was a changeup down low, but it's a changeup in the middle of the zone. In game 1, let's see what happened here.
Oh, they're just showing the doubles.
Oh,
why?
I don't know.
Just the memes.
Oh, I guess they could be talking about how far Dickerson was playing off the line. I guess
maybe
because this is a different ballpark all around. It's such a short field in left field. All right, Garrett Cooper gets under 1, and it's a soft fly ball to center field. So that's the second out of the inning. So 2 outs, and it's Matt Joyce coming up to the plate.
Matt Joyce got to break through eventually, right?
Yes, and it's 2 outs in the inning, so we love doing that. So a base hit, you have to send Anderson home. That's what it is.
2 for 7 in the postseason. He's struggling. He's struggling to make contact with Ian Anderson's pitches, man. Probably like a changeup from Ian Anderson.
Yes, another changeup, 87 miles an hour in the outside corner. But that's the thing, though. You have to make the adjustment. it's not like it's a surprise at this point. It's been mostly fastball and changeup. You have to adjust, stay a little back, especially lefties. Lefties know it's a lot of changes against him. All right, it's you're watching the play. What happened?
Fly ball left, Austin Riley, caught by Duvall and left to end the inning. An early wasted opportunity for the Marlins. It's just going to be stuff we can't be doing if we're trying to win this game. Quicker we get to the Braves bullpen, not even better. The Braves bullpen has dominated.
Yes, they have. So it was the second chance the Marlins have missed so far. The one was in the first inning, and now this one in the fourth. And it was again with another changeup for Ian Anderson. He got out of this trouble after the 1-out double by Brian Anderson. And now it's Pablo time again. We're going to have Pablo Lopez coming back to the mound and facing the heart of the order for the Braves. Ozuna, Darnot, and Albies are coming up. 3, 4, and 5 in the middle of the lineup of the Braves in the bottom of the fourth inning here in Houston. Let's go through some of your messages, guys. Okay, April, why is the game not on Hulu? I don't know. We have to ask Hulu. Why didn't they just put it on ESPN? I don't know. MLB Network has the TV rights, I guess. Why they couldn't air it on TBS? I don't know either. Who you guys have, Marlins or Braves? We like the Marlins to win. Buena tarde para Jose Gabriel or Gabriel. Those Braves starting pitchers get easier after today. Well, yes, Kyle Wright, like we were mentioning before, he's going to start tomorrow. He was picked early in the draft, but he hasn't really been that guy for the Braves. Hopefully the Marlins can get to him. So yes, it should get easier, and it should get harder. Well, I don't know. Pablo has been very good today, but Sixto Sanchez should be another hard arm to be facing. And our friend Jonas Francis says, "Go Marlins."
Go Marlins. When are they hopping on? You know.
I don't know. I know David has to drive after he works, so he's not tweeting right now and driving. So he's tweeting but not driving. and then I don't know. Lasner, it's a good question. I don't know when he's gonna come, but he will come. Don't worry, he will come. Yeah. David tweeted 42 minutes ago, so I guess
maybe because he doesn't. For any kids watching, David does not drive and tweet, so we maintain safety at 5.
Yeah. So counting that 42 minutes, he should be on his way home, and he should be getting home sometime soon because he's not tweeting. He hasn't tweeted in 42 minutes, so that's
a long time for David to not tweet.
Yes, that's our key right there, especially the Marlins playing in the playoffs. So we're going for so tonight's games are going to be in TBS, 2 of them, the Astros and the Yankees. And then at night is going to be on FS1. For all of you asking why are these games in one channel or the other, I don't know. They just have the rights and that's it. And it's Marcell Ozuna hitting already against Pablo Lopez, 1-1 count. Every time we come back that I get the signal, it's a 1-1 count. And we'll see what Pablo does. It's been sinker, changeup. He's swinging. He's getting a lot of swing and misses with the changeup. So he's going to continue to go to that pitch a lot. It was sinker and then changeups. So that's how he's been going through Marcell Ozuna. And this type of game, you're like, damn, maybe if we pitched Pablo yesterday, we would be winning that game. Not this one, but that one maybe. I don't know. It's just... we'll see if they can react today. That's another changeup and another strikeout for Pablo Lopez. 88 mile an hour changeup. And look, I think they might be finding the way to get these Braves hitters. Low changeups, and these guys are just swinging over every pitch that it's out of the zone. And that could be the key for the Marlins going forward now. If they can score runs and they can keep pitching like this, because Sixto Sanchez has a powerful fastball, but he also has a powerful changeup. So if he can command that changeup tomorrow, that's going to be very interesting as well. Our friend Gabriel says, any guesses on Marlins starting pitchers for Game 4? We don't know yet. It could be Daniel Castano or Trevor Rogers, or it could be a bullpen day too, depending. We were talking yesterday about the possibility of being a bullpen day or an opener, maybe with Ryan Stanek that day. He would be good for that fourth game. I don't know. We have a lot of options there. And that's it, because it was gonna be, or it could have been Urania, right? But the Braves just killed Urania, so I don't know if actually Mattingly would have started. Oh my god! So 2-1 count, and Travis Darnot just unleashes on a changeup. There you go, 89, and another. It was inside again. Look at that 4 pitch right there, inside. Both home runs.
Smile on the bench. Jeez.
Yeah, both home runs have been with those inside pitches, and that was it. Travis Darnot was ready for the changeup. We talked about it. Pablo Lopez has been using a lot of this changeup, and that was just a sharp line drive. That was impressive. He got out in a hurry. Let's go check the exit velocity. Travis Darnot, 109.9, almost 110. That's almost Giancarlo Stanton like. 110 miles an hour. Sharp line drive. Look at that launch angle, only 23 degrees. That's a sharp hit ball. 405 feet. Just a mamo shot. Look at that. Well, 2 runs for the Braves, 2 home runs, and that's it. We have to hit. In order to beat these guys, we have to score some runs. So Pablo's doing what he can do, but it might be not be enough.
My friend just texted me and he was like, who would win, 9 Marlins or 1 Travis Darno? And at this,
look at the Braves. 8 of the 15 hits have been extra bases, 3 doubles, 5 home runs so far. So that gives you an idea. And 2 of those have been by Travis Darnot, and very important ones. The one to give the Braves the lead yesterday. So he might be the MVP of this series so far.
Oh, 100%.
That one, 3-run shot to give the Braves the lead yesterday, and this one to double the difference to 2-0 in the 4th inning. So, but it's all right. Bounce back by Pablo Lopez, ground ball by Ozzy Albies, and he gets the out, the 2nd out of the inning. It's been two shots, man, and that double by Markakis, but the rest has been a very good outing by Pablo Lopez. Not a bad start for him at all. Okay, that was it. That's the end of the inning. So sharp line drive by Anderson against another changeup, but directly to Miguel Rojas' hands. So after 70 pitches, a couple of homers by Swanson and Darnot, and the Braves are beating the Marlins after 4 complete innings at Minute Maid Park. I mean, it's not bad. 2 runs is not bad. If you can keep the game there, the Marlins need to come back and score some runs anyway. I know it's not ideal. It's still 2 runs, but I mean, it wasn't when you talked about this series, you knew the Braves were going to score runs. It's not like you're going to shut them up. Like whatever the Reds did in that first game of the series against them, that was just impressive. But that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it hasn't been optimal. We're looking like the Reds out there today, which not good. But they could easily turn around with one good inning. You know, we've been known to have those innings where we, you know, put stuff together. You know, could put up, you know, a 2-out rally. We don't know. Ian Anderson's a young pitcher again. You know, we're just looking to put him in some pressure. As long as we, you know, in the next few innings, put Ian Anderson in situations where he's forced to pitch under pressure. I think that we can put some runs on the board. But if Ian Anderson goes 6 or 7 scoreless innings, and then we get to the bullpen, those guys, they're seasoned vets out there in the bullpen. They can pitch through the pressure. We want to get to Ian Anderson. Tomorrow we want to get to Kyle Wright because they might be susceptible to the pressure as younger guys and just probably not overall as consistent as the bullpen is for Atlanta.
Right. Well, hopefully that's the case, and hopefully the Braves are not scoring any more runs today. First game, Pablo given up 2 homers all season. Who scored the second run? Paulin. It was a home run by Travis Arnott, so he scored it. First game, Pablo allows more than 1 home run. That's an interesting stat for this. Well, I mean, it has to be this year because he's had other couple of rough outings in the past. Let me go see the game logs in the regular season. So 1 home run against the Braves on August 14th, 1 against the Braves, once against the Braves, once against the Phillies. So yeah, that was it. This is the first time this year that Pablo has allowed a couple of homers. Let me check 2019. 2 homers against the Braves on April 5th of 2019, and 3 homers against the Mets. And that, you remember that inning with 10 runs in 1 inning when Mattingly just left him there to die at Citi Field? Well, that day he allowed 3. Washington got him 2 times on May 24th. So last year it happened to him a couple of times. Washington again, August 31st, 3 home runs. Milwaukee, 2 home runs on September 11 last year. So it has, I mean, this year it's the first time, but last year it happened kind of not often, but sometimes it happened.
Pretty decently often.
Yes.
I mean, you listed off at least like 6 or 7 there.
Yeah. Okay, it's Miguel Rojas starting the 5th inning. We'll see if he can get on. You need to get people on leading off the inning, right? To start that rally feeling, not after 1 or 2 outs. See if that works because they haven't been able to score runs after 2 outs with men on.
Yeah. 3-1 count to Rojas. Rojas does have a very, very low chase rate, which is very good. And oh man,
a horrible call. Let me see. A little low. That was a little low.
Just a ball, man.
That's outside of the zone. That's what Rojas said. Yeah, that was a little low. You guys can see it there in our chart. Is number 5 right there, so you guys can see it. That was ball 4 for Rojas. It should have been a walk, and he should have been in first.
He just swung at a ball. So, you know, it's not even Rojas' fault. He has to swing at that. He has to attack. Because he's put in that position with that awful call there. Should have a runner on first here. Just quite annoying to see. And he swings and misses for strike 3.
So that was another changeup in the dirt, I guess. Let me see. Yes, he was in the dirt. And another strikeout for Ian Anderson. After that pitch, you could tell how Rojas was swinging at everything, right? High fastball, he swung at it. Foul ball. Low changeup, he swung at it. And he almost got it too. So that's a strikeout to start the 5th inning for the Marlins. And now it's Magneuri Sierra coming up to the plate.
My favorite combination of Sierra and Tad Wallach.
Yes.
This will be my last half inning here on the show today, but Just some final thoughts as I leave halfway through the game. Sierra with a hard, sharp foul ball down the line, but foul. It's going to come down to if the Marlins can string something together. We don't have that potential to go home run, home run, home run.
Mm-hmm.
And the further we get into this game and the closer to the end of the back of the Braves bullpen that we get to, the less likely that it will be for us to string this stuff together to put together positive ABs. You know, Ian Anderson is looking a little rocky here. Like, he basically walked Miguel Rojas 3 times last at bat. 3-1 here to Sierra. If I'm Sierra, I'm taking, but
he swung at a 3-1 count last time, so we'll see what he does now.
Yeah, we'll see what he does. I'd like to see some. And he grounds out right to Freddie Freeman. Yep, not ideal. Not ideal whatsoever. What are you going to do?
Yeah, he did it again, 3-1 fastball, and he swung at it. I mean, it has to be the plan, right, for the Braves. In the 3-1, well, you're going to attack. But I don't know, losing by 2, I was there with you. Take all the way and see what happens. Okay, they're showing the changeup again and how it died on Rojas. And Ian Anderson, I mean, he's been great, and I know he got that call, but other than that, he's been fine. I mean, it's too bad for the Marlins because that would have been that runner on with no outs that we were talking about. And now it's nobody on, 2 outs, and Chad Wallach. And he grounds out to third base, Austin Riley to Freddie Freeman. So that's 5 innings, no runs for the Marlins, and the Braves are up 2-0 in the third game of the National League Division Series. All right, Christian, you want to say something to the Marlins fans here? Giving them some hope, please.
Not a great start to today. We're 5 innings in, down 2-0. Pablo's looked good enough. The hitting has not looked good enough. And, in ABs where we're, up in the count 3-1, Sierra should have taken that. Not only do you work Ian Anderson's pitch count, but you also put yourself in a good situation to get on base. And for Sierra, who is technically in that situation a leadoff hitter, who possesses a lot of speed, for us not to take that pitch, for Mattingly not to tell him to hold, not ideal. But if there's any silver lining, we have the top of the order coming up next inning. Ian Anderson did look a little worse. We were making very good like not even great contact, but enough contact this past inning, especially with Sierra making contact, Wallach making contact after Ian Anderson was striking everyone out. We have the top of the order coming up. Ian Anderson running on fumes a little, about to hit 80 pitches. If we score, I think we'll be in this next top of the inning. But either way, we're playing good enough baseball to win. We just gotta string some hits together, and I think this team can do that in the right situation with the right guys up. We just don't want to see Melanson. We don't want to see the guys who dominated us yesterday. Should be fun. It's going to continue to be a pitcher's duel most likely. But I'll sign off for now, and I'll be watching the game as I have school because college. But thank you for having me. I'll be here tomorrow. I don't have class tomorrow, so I should be here the entire time, which is great.
Good.
But until then, I'll talk to you guys. Thanks for watching. Go Marlins.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Christian is going to class. Good boy. Don't watch the game during class. We'll be checking on Twitter, see if you're watching.
See if I'm tweeting while I'm in class. All right. All right. Bye, guys.
All right. See you, man. So that was Christian Chase. You can follow him, of course, on Twitter. He's part of the 5 Reasons team here. So it's going to be the 5th inning for the Marlins. No, for the Braves now. Pablo Lopez trying to get through another inning without getting hit. A couple of hard hit balls against him. A couple of homers, one by Dansby Swanson, the other one by Travis Dornat, and those 2 are the only runs of the game so far. The Marlins are down 2-0 in the 5th inning, and Adam Duvall is going to be leading up for the Marlins right now. And we're gonna go through my image. So I'm gonna be calling the pitches here. Low curveball by Pablo Lopez, starting the fifth inning against Adam Duvall, who's 0 for 1, fly out to second base. He missed that in the first at bat, and we'll see how he works Duvall in this count. It's a low fastball, 2-0. Let's see what Frank Almanza says. Go Marlins. Brandon Sucks says Marlins need to get rid of their snake manager so they can get their dignity back. Well, I don't know what he's talking about. And so it's Pablo Lopez in a 2-0 count. And then he goes with the fastball in the middle, and that's an error by Brian Anderson, and that's going to be a runner on base. So an error by Brian Anderson. I'm sorry, Ian Anderson is the starting pitcher for the Braves. Brian Anderson commits this error. It looks like a pretty routine ground ball. He stayed back too much. He didn't face the ground ball. He was trying to kind of a little bit like sideways, and that's an error on Brian Anderson to start the fifth inning. And you can't give this this Braves lineup runners on. So hopefully Pablo can get a ground ball to get a couple of outs here. Where's Jazz Chisholm? It's a question by Frank. Well, Jazz, it's in the bench right now, and he could be a good starter for tomorrow. I don't know who. I mean, maybe if you take out who Bertie could be. Hitting players like Acuna instead of just coaching the game. Well, Brandon, you're saying that he is sending his pitchers to hit Acuna, and I don't think that's the case. I know you don't follow the Marlins. I guess you don't follow the Marlins, because if you do follow the Marlins, you know Matt English is not about that life. But that's fine. It's your opinion, and that's why we're here. We're trying to share and enjoy the watching the game here. The second game of the National League Division Series. It's fun watching the Marlins in the playoffs, man. I know it's been so long, and for all of you Marlins fans, I know the Braves fans are kind of used to coming back to this stage and also being eliminated in this stage, because the Braves are good, but they don't win a lot of series in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. Foul tip, and Nick Markakis strikes out for the first out of the inning. They're talking about the shift comparison. The Marlins shift almost 40% of the time. They're the 11th, and the Braves shift very little. The last place, the team that uses the shift the least. So there's one out. That was Nick Markakis striking out against a fastball outside. That was a foul tip, but it's the first out of the inning, the fourth strikeout for Pablo Lopez so far. No, the fifth one for Pablo Lopez, who has allowed a couple of home runs and a double. And it was Markakis who got that double a couple of innings ago. And now he's facing Austin Riley. And that should have been the second out of the inning. You have to remember the inning started off with an error by Brian Anderson on third base. So hopefully he can get out of this inning and not have to face Ronald Acuna with runners on, because we know what happens every time Acuna gets a runner on against the Marlins. Thank you to all of you, by the way, who are sending your messages and sharing this time with us. We really enjoy your presence here, and we really enjoy when you guys join us to do this type of experiences, live commentary of the Marlins games. I know the Marlins are not the favorite team of everybody here in South Florida, but they are getting some love now that they are in the playoffs. And I mean, with the Miami Heat, who are playing in the finals, they're down 3-1 in the NBA Finals. They are one of the favorites now. So welcome back to our channel, and thank you. And if you haven't, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we are producing a lot of content for you guys, for you Marlins fans, for you Miami sports fans in general. Thank you very much, and we'll be back to the game. It's another strikeout and another changeup. The sixth strikeout for Pablo Lopez. So great job by Pablo. 2 outs in the fifth, and it's gonna be Ronald Acuna with runner on first to face Pablo Lopez here with 2 outs on the fifth inning. So after that error by Brian Anderson, a couple of quick outs, a couple of strikeouts for Pablo Lopez, this inning should have been over already, but he does have to face Acuna for the third time today. He has struck Acuna out a couple of times already. That was a low sinker, and it was called a strike, kind of a similar pitch to what Miguel Rojas was complaining earlier in the game. Both, according to the little box that we have here in MLB Game Day, those were balls in those at bats. So I guess he evened it out right there, the umpire, with that call. I mean, it's a double error anyway, but it's still, I guess it's better when it's even for one of the teams, but I don't know. You get what I'm saying. So Ronald Acuna, very dangerous hitter here. Third pitch of that bat, and it's a ball, low changeup. Ronald Acuna's letting those changeups go now. He was swinging at all of them earlier in the game, and that's why he struck out a couple of times. He's making the adjustment, and we'll see what Pablo Lopez goes to now. In a 2 count after a couple of sinkers and a changeup, we'll see what Pablo Lopez goes with, because this is a very interesting point in the game. You don't want Acuna to really make some damage, but you don't want to walk him out either. So fastballs, he went right back at him, and I guess Acuna was not expecting that pitch because he was just sad that he didn't swung at that. It was, I mean, it was high and up in the zone, and he went. It was a swing, but it still was going to be a strike anyway. And now what do you guys do? You go to the changeup, or you go to the slider, or you go to a curveball, or you go back to the fastball up. We'll see what Pablo Lopez does. Wallach is getting in, and that was an inside fastball, and that's where they've been working him. Fastball inside. So that's why every time you complain about Acuna getting hit, you have to remember that that's where the Marlins are working him. So in 45 games, including postseason, Acuna hits 322, 18 homers, 43 RBIs, an on-base percentage of 418, slugging over 630. He just crushes the Marlins. That's it. Regular season or postseason. Low fastball by Pablo Lopez. Wallach was set up inside. Pablo Lopez missed the spot, but it was still low. So 3-2 count, and here's the pitch. Low changeup, and that's a foul ball by Ronald Acuna. So the runners is going to be moving. He's going to go at every pitch now. Adam Duvall, who it's on because of error, is starting the inning for the Atlanta Braves, and here comes Pablo Lopez, and that's a strikeout. So 3 strikeouts today for Ronald Acuna. Another changeup low, and another swing and a miss by Ronald Acuna. The Marlins are still in this game. 3 strikeouts for Acuna. All of them, I think, have been against the Pablo Lopez changeup. The Braves are still up 2-0 after 5 innings at Minute Maid Park, but it's not the same. The Pablo Lopez is coming back and getting a lot of outs with that changeup. So 3 at bats, 3 strikeouts in the Pablo Lopez Ronald Acuna duel. So that's the end of the fifth. 3 ponches para Ronald Acuna. So 3 strikeouts. That's the end of the fifth. And now the Marlins have to score some runs. And here, maybe Mattingly has to go to the bench, like you guys were complaining about. And he doesn't have a lot of options, but Jazz Chisholm is one of them. So we'll see if he goes to it or if he goes back to what he's been doing so far. Let's go and check what Pablo Lopez has been doing on the pitches, because he is at 89 pitches after that 5th inning, and not a bad outing at all by Pablo Lopez. 89 pitches, mostly changeups, 35 changeups, only 29 fastballs. And look at that whiff percentage, 10 whiffs with the changeup. So it's been working a lot for Pablo Lopez, and most of them has to be coming from Acuna, who has struck out today. All right, we're coming back, and it's Brandon, our friend, says that Don Mattingly is just giving away runs. I love baseball, and I'm proud of the Marlins, but Don made it. Okay, we'll see what happens after the game and after the series, and if they keep using Don Mattingly for next year. So it's going to be Ian Anderson coming back. He has been lights out for the Braves, just doing a great job so far. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of swinging and misses too by the Marlins hitters. So not a lot of hard contact by the Marlins, and not a lot of consecutive hard contacts. There's been a couple of them, but not many of them at all. Tomorrow it's going to be the third game, so we're going to be back. Remember, join us. We're going to be back here, and hopefully you can be here with us to 08. And game 4 of the Astros A's series will be tomorrow at 3:35 if necessary. The same with Tampa Bay against the Yankees with the fourth game. That one would be necessary. We know for sure. And the Dodgers and Padres will play tomorrow night as well. They play tonight and tomorrow night, and then we'll see from there. So, sixth inning for the Marlins. It's our friend Corey Dickerson hitting now. He's in a 1-2 count. He just missed a fastball down the middle, and that's it. We'll see if he can react now, because Dickerson has struck out in his first 2 at bats. Change up outside. He didn't swing at it. That pitch was actually very far away from the strike zone. Ian Anderson checking off Darnot's signs. Here comes the pitch. Sharp ground ball to the middle, but Swanson was right there. That ball was hit hard, but right to the defensive player there at shortstop. So that's the first out of the inning. We need to get better offensively this game. Our friend Frank Almanzar is saying, yes, we need to get runners on and trying to score some runs. But to score some runs, you need to get people on. So one thing comes after the other one, unless you hit homers like the Braves do. So that sharp ground ball came out of the bat at 92.6 miles an hour, but that was the first out of the inning. John Bertie, he's one of the candidates to be pinch hit, right, today. I mean, especially against the righty, having Jazz Chisholm there in the bench, he could be an option there, even though he's been so good for the Marlins. Good contact guy, great runner, and he gets a base hit here. Curveball, and he gets one ground ball between shortstop and third base between Swanson and Austin Riley, and that's the tying run coming up to the plate for the Miami Marlins. And here's the chance for Bird to try to get to second, to get in scoring position. He's a great base stealer, so that's going to be a threat here for the Marlins. Hopefully he can get a good jump at it. He can get on a good position to be on scoring position sometime soon. It's Jesus Aguilar hitting now. Bomb threat, of course. Hopefully he can get a hold of one here. But like we were saying, it's a matter of getting people on base and a matter of working those counts and trying to get to the next one, get people on and all of that. So Aguilar's 3 for 15 in these playoffs. He does have one homer against the Cubs. That was against Jerry Jeffries in that first game of the series. And he just missed one changeup right now. Foul straight back, got Darnot in the leg, but that was a great, great pitch. Low in the zone, and it was a great swing by Aguilar too. Low in the zone, but it was pretty, pretty close to being hit hard. And with that short porch and left field, and Aguilar being a line drive hitter, hopefully one of those line drives just goes over that wall. Or if not, a good double. This Minute Maid Park, has a good, good gap in that left center field. If that ball rolls all the way over there, we saw it with Magneuris Sierra, that ball can just travel. And you see the left fielder just guarding that space, actually. They leave the entire left field open. So a base hit to left field could also score a guy because the left fielder is playing way, way, way to center field. So Aguilar swings and misses in this pitch. He's 102, another 1-2 in the count. Another slow changeup for Ian Anderson. It's been a changeup day, right? A lot of changes by Anderson and a lot of changes by Pablo Lopez at this point. And he got another one and a hard, sharp ground ball to third base, foul to the third base dugout. And here you have Aguilar. He's focused. He's looking for his pitch. He's swinging at almost everything. Sprint speed among second basemen. John Bird is the second fastest guy when talking about second baseman, just behind the Rockies' Hampson. There's a couple of milliseconds faster than Birdie, and he should be running here. I mean, I don't want Birdie to stay at first, even though I guess in today's game you just wait for the 2-run homer and that's it, or the extra base in order to score. But if you ask me, I would go with my guts. Just go and try to get in score position and try to avoid the double play, especially trying to avoid the double play, because that's what you don't want, right? Low pitch, that's a fastball. So it's a ball 2-2 the count for Jesus Aguilar. And again, this is a good count to be running on. You have to trust your guy in the plate hitting, and you have to trust your guy on first base running. So we'll see what Mattingly does here. Let's see. Here's the pitch, 2-2 count, 91st pitch for Ian Anderson. Another changeup in the middle of the zone, and that's another foul ball for Jesus Aguilar. We see a couple of arms in the Braves bullpen, O'Day and Matzek. They both worked yesterday, but like we said earlier, they didn't pitch very much, so they're ready for this next challenge. Curveball outside, and Aguilar just somehow puts the bat on this pitch, and it's still a 2-2 count. That was a great effort by Jesus Aguilar. Okay, 2-2 count. It's been a great at bat by Jesus Aguilar. Very experienced hitter. He's been in this type of situation. Another fastball in and another foul ball by Jesus Aguilar. And this is a great at bat, and this should be the last or one of the last hitters that Anderson faces in today's matchup because it's been great, a great at bat for both of them. You see what ends up happening. Aguilar swings and a miss, low changeup, and he finally got him. So it was a great at bat, but it ends up with another strikeout for Ian Anderson, who has been really lights out for the Marlins hitters. Not at all, not the best performance by the Marlins. 8 strikeouts so far. 8 strikeouts, 1 base on balls. It should have been 3 because Dickerson swung at a very, very high pitch in the first inning. Rojas had an awful call in a couple of innings ago, and that's it. Brian Snicker says that's enough. Oh, well, let's see, because in today's game we're so used to bringing new guys, but we'll see exactly what happens because Snicker's talking to Anderson, and that's it. Great job by Ian Anderson. He's gonna finish with 5 innings and 2/3, 3 base hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, and the runner on first base, it's his. So he doesn't want the Anderson matchup. He's going to go with Darren O'Day, that very hard submarine pitcher for the Braves. He did pitch yesterday, like we said. He didn't pitch very many. He didn't have very many pitches, so we'll see what happens there. So that's a pitching count for pitching change. I'm sorry, for Anderson. And let's check how he used his pitches because that was a great performance today by Ian Anderson, and the amount of pitches that he used. He ended up with 94, especially after that Jesus Aguilar at bat. And Brad Sneaker said, "You know what? I don't want any problems right now." So it's 49 fastballs, 30 changeups, 13 curveballs, and 2 sinkers, 94 total. A total of 14 whiffs, and with that, 8 strikeouts, 13 cold strikes, and balls put in play only 12. The 22 foul balls. The maximum average was 96. The minimum was 89. So the average, you guys have it right there, 92.7, and the average 86.1. I don't know what that is. And the exit velocity, he wasn't hit very hard today. Oh, they're going by pitches. I'm sorry. So that was all fastballs. So at the end, 94 pitches, and he will be winning this game. This game ends up like this now. So Darren O'Day gonna face Brian Anderson now, and it's interesting because yesterday, like we were saying, he pitched. He's 37 years old. He has pitched in a couple of innings. Last game, let me see real quick. He has a couple of outings in this postseason, 1 inning and a third, 2 strikeouts. In those innings, he hasn't allowed any runs, but he does allow people on. I mean, it's just a short sample. And let me see the game logs in the postseason. He faced how many hitters? 3 hitters. He allowed 1 base hit and struck out 1 against the Marlins in his last outing, and that's who's going to face Brian Anderson. First pitch, slider way outside for Brian Anderson. Hopefully, here we have the numbers for the regular season: 4 wins, no losses, 1.10 ERA, 16 innings and a third, 8 hits, 22 Ks, 5 walks, and a WHIP of .80. So we'll see. This is a great at bat for Anderson too. I mean, he's been hot. He's been hitting the ball pretty well, and hopefully he can get a hold of one here. Slider, and that's outside, a little bit outside. That was a good call by the umpire because it was pretty close, pretty close to the plate right there, and we'll see. But hopefully he's in a position right now, Anderson, that makes him be available to swing away and get good contact with a good pitch here. Down the middle, fastball with a lot of run there. going to the inside, only 87 miles an hour. So that was a good pitch to swing at. And Anderson just missed it. And it's in the zone that he likes it. In middle in, but actually not that in. And very next pitch is a hit by pitch. So that's the seventh for Brian Anderson in history against the Braves. He's not complaining though. And Berry was running anyway. So that's a base for the Marlins. So the Marlins have the tying run on first. Berry is on second. And Garrett Cooper, again, he has another chance to bring some runs to the plate for the Marlins. Slider outside, good pitch, very good pitch, and very good take by Garrett Cooper. That was a very close pitch and a very, very good take by Garrett Cooper, especially about how close he was and how good of a movement that pitch had coming to the plate. Let's see what Darren O'Day does now. In a 2-0 count, he threw a fastball to Garrett Cooper. And now it's a slider down the middle, and Cooper just missed this pitch. It was a 70-mile-an-hour slider that hung over the plate, and he just missed it. So ball outside, so it's a 2-1 count now. That was a fastball, I think. Let me go check real quick here. It looked like one, at least. Let me see. Yes, fastball outside, 87 miles an hour. So Darren O'Day is like a college pitcher right now. 87-mile-an-hour fastball and just a 70-something mile an hour slider. But we'll see if the Marlins can get to him. Braves bullpen, only one run allowed in 14 innings. They just said it. You know, that's a bad luck every time they say this. We'll see what Garrett Cooper does in this next pitch. Here it comes. Garrett Cooper, and that's a ball, 3-1. Another ball, low and outside. So very good count for Garrett Cooper to try to unleash his power right here. Let's see if he can do some damage. Bring the Marlins back in this series, back in this game. I mean, they're still in it, 2-0 only. A couple of homers by the Braves. Dansby Swanson and Travis Dornat. And here's the pitch coming by Darren O'Day. Nope, he went to second base. Trying to get John Berry, who's on second. Brian Anderson to first. Brian Anderson is the time run. So he would be running on contact day. It's 2 outs. So this is where the Marlins have been good in this season. Runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that's a ball in. So bases loaded for the Miami Marlins. I mean, Cooper saw only one good pitch in the 1-0 count. 1-0 count. That was down the middle. He missed it, and that was it. And now it's the time for Matt Joyce, and this is the bat you want for Matt Joyce right now. Lefty against the righty that has to face at least 3 batters. So that's the difference here. In the past, you would have had to go to your lefty, and what happened here? Matt Joyce goes after the first pitch. And it's a soft ground ball to first base, so that's the end of the inning. Matt Joyce was not very patient in that at bat, and that's it for the Marlins in the 6th inning. Brian Anderson or Ian Anderson claps, and it's out of the inning just like that. Matt Joyce. So the Marlins don't take advantage of this opportunity. It's a soft ground ball to first base. They leave 3 on, and it's 2-0 for the Atlanta Braves in the 6th inning. We're going to play the bottom part of the 6th inning right now, and it's 2-0 for the Braves. And thank you to all of you that are joining us here on the post or the live commentary of this game. It's been a crazy, crazy series. A lot of hitting in the first game. And not so much in the second one. A couple of homers by the Braves and not so much by the Marlins. They have left, let me check how many runners the Marlins have left on base, because they left 2 in the first inning, 3 on this one. So that's at least 5 so far. But let me check left on base, because it might be hard for them. What has Matt Joyce done all season? Well, he's been good hitter. It's just he wasn't patient in that at bat, and that's too bad because it was a good opportunity, especially against O'Day, who it seemed like he was having trouble actually getting to the zone, and we saw it in that at bat against Gary Cooper. Our friend David Fernandez is here. David, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. I would have been a lot better if Matt Joyce would have done something a little bit more productive in that spot. I mean, that was ugly. I mean, I heard what you just said about, Darren O'Day being kind of all over the place, and they had him. They had a great opportunity, and Joyce is left-handed bat. He had bases loaded, but he couldn't come through with the hit. I mean, the offense has been dead today.
Yes, completely dead. And it was a good job by Pablo Lopez. It's all for him. Richard Blyer is going to come to pitch in the 6th inning. So that's it for Pablo Lopez. 5 solid innings, a couple of homers to bat for him because it was a very good outing. His changeup was working very well, and he got almost everybody out of balance. Only Swanson against a fastball, 1-2 count. I mean, it was a ball, and he swung at it. He hit it out. Good for him. And then Travis Darnell was waiting for the changeup in a 2-0 count, and it was a ball too, and he hit it out. Good for him again. And that's it. Richard Blyer in for the Marlins to face Freddie Freeman and the middle of the lineup for the Braves.
I mean, Blyer's been good, and he's been one of the more dependable bullpen arms. I mean, but also, we had our most dependable guy out there yesterday, Yimi Garcia, and he blew it. But this start is exactly what the Marlins needed from Pablo Lopez, right? He largely shut down that Braves offense. I mean, they got 2 hits. He wasn't giving them, extra base runners or anything like that. And as you said, it doesn't seem like those pitches that were hit out were even particularly bad pitches. He didn't. There weren't big time mistakes that he made, and he handled Ronald Acuna pretty well. He struck out Acuna 3 times. Didn't come close to hitting him. So Acuna had nothing to cry about today. And Brian Anderson, though, got hit again.
Yes.
For as much as the Braves bitch about, the Marlins hitting Acuna, the Braves have actually hit Brian Anderson more times in the same stretch. They've hit Brian Anderson 7 times, and Acuna's been hit 5 times. And then the stuff with Acuna, I mean, you have to be able to pitch inside to a player like that. He's out leaning out over the plate, extending his arms, so that's part of the game plan for him. And that's not the case for Brian Anderson. He doesn't necessarily crowd the plate all that much. So they hit Brian Anderson, but it was a great outing from Lopez. You loved what you saw from him. What he was able to do, but that's been him all year, right? He had 2 bad starts all year long. He had the one bad start in Atlanta that, was kind of short-circuited by a terrible call by the umpire. You know, they overturned what should have been an out and ended the inning there.
Yeah.
You know, but beyond that, he had 2 bad outings all year long. Otherwise, he was really, really good, a frontline starter. And to give up only 2 runs to this lineup, I mean, I think most people would take it, considering the Braves get almost 6 runs per game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good outing, and Blyer has gotten the first 2 guys out already. It's just, I mean, we need to hit anyway. If we don't score runs, we're not going to win. And the Marlins left a couple of runners on the first inning. They left 3 more in this inning. And I mean, I know you have to be aggressive with runners on, but with a pitcher that just hit a guy, walked a guy, I mean, even in little ball league, they tell you know what, you're taking one.
Yeah.
Because this guy is just all over the place and he's not commanding. So we're just going to give him 1 strike, see if he can figure it out. And that was a quick inning by Blyer. Only 9 pitches. And it's just like that, right? Is that easy? We should have brought this guy for the 7th inning yesterday. 9 pitches and he got through Freeman, Ozuna, and Darnell just like that.
But you know what? He got to start the inning. That was the big thing. You know, we were talking about that yesterday, about how, you know, how different does that inning look if, you know, Yimi gets to start the inning with, you know, nobody on, instead of coming out and having to deal with 2 guys on and nobody out, you know, with the Braves having gained momentum. I mean, you know, in retrospect, it didn't work, right? But and we'd seen Mattingly pull Sandy mid-inning before. I mean, we saw that against the Yankees and the Cubs and stuff, you know. So, but yeah, Pablo was great, and Blyer looked really good in that inning. So that's obviously a positive. Blyer's been a good pickup for the Marlins. You know, they traded for him. They got him from the Orioles. Blyer's from down here. He's from down in South Florida. I think he went from Plantation. You know, so nice to have him and for him to be effective. And you know, if the Marlins are going to win this game, if they're going to make this a series, they've got to get some runs on the board here. I mean, you give up 3 hits to the Braves, only 2 runs, you know, through 6 innings. That's your pitching staff is doing really, really well. But on the flip side of that, as you said, they've left 6 runners on today. They're 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They only have 3 hits on the day. So the offense has to get going.
Yeah. And it's a new pitcher for the Braves, Tyler Matzek. We were talking in the beginning earlier with Christian. He went to class. You're coming from teaching. He's going to class. And neither of you guys is tweeting during those activities, I'm sure. And
definitely not, of course.
No. And then now these guys are pitching again because they worked so fast yesterday against the Marlins. They were so quick and so effective that they get to use them once again today. And Matzek is one of those important arms for the Braves, and he's coming for this 7th inning. I mean, this could be, well, right, lucky 7th. Hopefully the Marlins can get some action going on.
Yeah, that's the key, right? Against the Chicago Cubs, that's when the Marlins offense kind of woke up. I mean, the flip side to that is in both of those games against the Cubs, I mean, yeah, the starters had shut them down, but the starters for the Cubs were still in the ball game.
Yes.
You know, at that point. So, I mean, this year Matzek has given up 2 hits to the Marlins. He's pitched quite a bit against the Marlins. He gave up 2 hits, 1 to Starling Marte, who's obviously not available, and he gave up a hit to Miguel Rojas, who's up right now. So it'd be nice if Rojas can duplicate that effort. He, you know, 3 walks, but he was pretty good against the Marlins. 8 strikeouts in 2020. So the Marlins have had trouble with Matzek and really everybody in the Braves bullpen. The Braves bullpen has been really, really good. You know, so they've got the Marlins have their hands full. You know, if they can come back and steal this game, you feel pretty good going into game 3, because we saw the Braves' 2 best pitchers, right? We saw Max Fried, and actually the Marlins did well against Max Fried, and then Ian Anderson really shut them down. He's a great young pitcher. But then after that, Kyle Wright. I mean, Kyle Wright's been better of late, but the Marlins have hit pretty well against him, and then who knows after that for the Braves. So I mean, if the Marlins can steal one here, you'd feel pretty good going into Game 3, especially with Sixto on the mound for the Marlins.
Yeah, that's gonna be key. I mean, like you said, the best arms of the Braves rotation are already out of the equation, right? I mean, for now. So I mean, this game, especially the way it's going, we said if it's a pitching duel, the Marlins have a shot, but they do have to somehow scratch some runs and get some people in, because that's gonna be the only way to actually get some runs. Earlier in this game, Miguel Rojas led off an inning, and he was called a second strike with a very low ball. That would have been the ball 4 and the beginning of the inning with a runner on. That didn't happen, and since then it seems like he's swinging and everything. Look at this chart right there. All those pitches outside of the zone, he's swinging at it because he doesn't know. I mean, it might be a strike anyway, so might as well swing. And
I mean, he's clearly frustrated, right? I mean, but we've had that issue for the Marlins this year, right, where the umpiring hasn't been all that great, and it seems to get into some of their heads from time to time. I mean, you'd expect Miggy to be able to kind of focus here and to lead off this inning with a hit would be great. He's making Matt Sick work though, which is good. It's funny. I don't know if you guys talked about it. I'm looking at the comments right now. Gabriel asks, when are we going to see Jorge Alfaro? Seems like we could use his bat in the line. I mean, that we had talked about that yesterday, right?
Yes.
It's a tough decision between Wallach and Alfaro. Wallach has, caught the pitchers so well, and they got on a little bit of a roll late in the year. But he's providing nothing with the bat at this point. So, you wonder if it might be time to go back to Jorge Alfaro tomorrow with Sixto Sanchez starting, because Wallach and Pablo Lopez did seem to have a connection.
Yes, I mean, we might see him in this inning because this should be a good spot for him to actually come and hit. So after an 8-pitch at bat, Miguel Rojas strikes out. It's a and he's probably mad. Let me see. Yeah, it's in the middle. He's mad because that was very close to the pitch that he got struck out in the innings before. But this one was a strike. I mean, you guys can see it there.
That one's definitely a strike, but I mean, still, like, the inconsistency is what's frustrating him the most. It's tough. I
98 miles an hour. 98 miles an hour, man.
I haven't been able to watch the game, obviously, from start to finish. But if the umpire is giving that pitch down there, then maybe he needs to be protecting the bottom.
And we saw the chart. He was swinging at everything, and that was a pitch that was close anyway, so he should have swung at that pitch. We have Luz Brinson in for Magneuris Sierra, so that's it for Sierra today. And Luz Brinson, who is 0-for-4 in this postseason, and he gets a good knock. That's a fair ball? No, that's a foul ball. Ooh, I was excited. So the umpire was running from that ball, and I thought it was a fair ball. So he's already in an 0-2 count? No, that was the first pitch of that bat. Okay. All right, Luz Brinson, and then we might see.
You might see Alfaro. You might see Alfaro at that point. I mean, the swap here for Brinson and Sierra. I mean, this is just Mattingly looking for a spark. You know, I mean, Sierra's been okay. I mean, he was pretty good yesterday. Today Sierra was 0-for-2 with a strikeout. So I mean, he didn't provide much, and I guess the hope here for Mattingly is that Brinson can get a hold of one, because he does have power, and he has been he was hitting well in the second half of the year, particularly, really kind of earning his spot, but doesn't look like he's going to get the job done here as he's grounding out to Austin Riley, and the offense continues to be dormant.
So, yeah, I mean, we saw the chart. He was swinging at everything, and that was a pitch that was close anyway, so he should have swung at that pitch. We have Luz Brinson in for Magneuris Sierra, so that's it for Sierra today. And we have Yeah, I mean it's been a great job by the Braves pitcher so far. So again, it's 2 outs, nobody on, and here's the thing: you use Jorge Alfaro in this situation, or you save him because you're still down 2 runs.
Um, with 2 outs, probably save him. I mean, you want to, you want to be able to maximize the opportunities, right? If one of those guys was able to get on, maybe you bring in Alfaro. Yeah, so he stays with Wallach.
Yeah.
Because again, you want to maximize the opportunities when they're there, and so there's no reason to burn the pinch hitter after just using one.
Yeah.
Particularly, they're going to have 2 more turns, right? They've got the 8th and they've got the 9th, so Mattingly's going to want to have all the flexibility that he can. But at this point, it might be time to switch from Alfaro or from Wallach back to Alfaro.
Yeah, for the third game, we might see Alfaro. That's understandable, especially after this performance today. Even though, Wallach has done his principal job, which is commanding the pitching staff. But I guess you do need offense. And here's the thing: you only have 4 more options from the bench. You have Alfaro, you have Chisholm, you have Monte Harrison, and Sean Rodriguez. That's all you got as options in the bench. So it's not a lot.
No, and you think about how Mattingly has used that group specifically. Sean Rodriguez has done nothing all year long. He's barely been on the active roster. So to have him in the ballgame would be a surprise. Monte Harrison has been almost exclusively a pinch runner defensive replacement at this point. Wallach gets a hold of one, but it gets only to the warning track in right field. So the Marlins are done there in the 7th, and the score is still 2-0 Braves. But again, if you think about the rest of the guys that he has on that bench, Rodriguez hasn't been on the active roster very long this year, hasn't done much in the few opportunities. Harrison has been almost exclusively a pinch runner and defensive replacement. He's had trouble with the bat this year. So beyond that, Jazz and Jorge Alfaro, right? So between the 2 of them, I would imagine Alfaro gets the next pinch hit opportunity. And then if he's not pinch hitting for Wallach, it could be like a double switch situation down the line. But still, it's not looking good for the Marlins offense at the moment.
Yeah, for next inning, it's going to be Dickerson, Verdi, and Aguilar. From those, I don't think it's gonna. Well, maybe Chisholm for Verdi. That could be an option if it's a righty. That could be an option, even though Verdi got a base hit in his last at bat. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. First, we have to go through the 7th inning for the Braves, and we know how good of an offense that is. And the Braves are gonna have who? Let me see who's coming.
They have Ozzy Albies, Dansby Swanson, and then Adam Duvall. So
there you go. 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
One of the guys that has hit a couple of homers in the series already. And Frank says that looked like a home run for a second. It was close, man. It looks like this Minute Maid Park looks like it's really close all the time, and we get scared. That would have been great, right? Wallach going awful bomb.
That would have shut us up real quick, right? If he would have gone opposite field with a home run there to cut the lead in half, that would have been nice. But it's a tough. The Marlins offense is in a tough spot. But you know what? When they lost Starling Marte and they end up losing, arguably their best hitter.
Yeah.
You're already worried about the lineup going into it with Marte. Even when you're considering how the Braves' strength is obviously offensive and not necessarily the pitching staff, but the Braves have some good pitchers, and we've seen those pitchers here, and their bullpen has been particularly good. So losing Marte obviously hurt this lineup quite a bit, and then the guys who have replaced him, Sierra, Brinson, they just haven't been able to come up with the key hit. And it's not just them. Like nobody on the Marlins offense today particularly has come up with the big opportunity. Joyce had the biggest opportunity, but even then, Joyce is 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Garrett Cooper is 0 for 2 with a walk with runners in scoring position. So, of the lineup that when you look at it, I mean, you would think at this point you want Cooper up there with runners in scoring position, and you would have hoped that Joyce would have done something a little bit more productive. Looks like Mattingly has gone with Brad Boxberger.
Yes.
Start the 7th. Box didn't pitch the other day, or didn't pitch yesterday.
Yes. So he's available today, and he's been used here in the 7th inning. His numbers it's throughout the season: 23 games, 1 win, no losses, ERA of 3.00. It's 18 innings, 18 strikeouts. One of the most trusted arms in the bullpen for the Braves, and he's facing Ozzy Albies.
Yeah, Boxberger's been good. He was a good, under the radar pickup for this Marlins bullpen. I mean, he was a non-roster invitee for spring training, so he had to earn his spot, and he definitely did. I mean, he had closing experience with the Diamondbacks a couple years ago, so a veteran arm for that bullpen. And he pitched really, really well for the Marlins this year. So hopefully he can, keep this at a 2-run deficit. Although Albies gets a hold of one, but Minute Maid Park is going to hold it.
You got a little under that one, huh?
Yeah. But he did put a good swing on that ball. But Matt Joyce was able to get there. But yeah, Boxberger's been good. Boxberger's been good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, pitching has been good so far. Yesterday was the little crazy thing that went on, and it's too bad that we didn't pitch like that yesterday and then got rocked today, and that would have been 1-1, and that's it. But it's what it is. It's baseball, and you have to win those games. And this one is close, man. Yesterday looked like so far away when the Braves scored 9 and it was 9-4, and the Marlins kind of had something going on in the 8th inning. So hopefully that's the case today as well.
Yeah, listen, they've had their opportunities. I mean, they put up 5 runs yesterday. They got 4 on Max Fried, somebody that you didn't expect to give up those 4 runs. And they just showed some defensive highlights from the game yesterday. If Ozzy Albies doesn't make some of those plays yesterday, the Marlins get even more than just the 5 runs, right? There were a couple spectacular defensive plays by the Braves yesterday. Austin Riley had another one too. So the Braves, their offense was great yesterday, and their defense saved them some runs. And in retrospect, you wish that the Marlins offense could have done a little bit more. But again, like you said, they had those opportunities. Down 9-4, they scratched 1 across, but they had multiple runners on there, and they had an opportunity to get the game even closer. And today, bases loaded, down by 2. And they're not able to get a run across for that. It's the chances are there for this offense, which is we've seen that throughout the year, right? They've had some nice 2-out rallies. They've scored so many runs with 2 outs. So you're hoping that they can continue that sort of magic, I guess, here to end this game. But this lineup is missing. It's missing a bat, right? It's missing at least 1, maybe 2 bats. Because when you look at the Braves lineup, I mean, they go 7 or 8 deep, and even then, the guys at the bottom of their lineup, Markakis is good, and Austin Riley can hit bombs too, So I think the next step in this rebuilding process, and it sounds like I'm talking about the season's over. It's obviously not, but the next step in this rebuilding process for the Marlins is really to flesh out the rest of this lineup.
They need more hitters, and they need more power, more punch. It's not their fault that starting Marte's out. They did make the move, and it didn't work. And Alfaro should be another important bat there, and he's not playing. Even Harold Ramirez used to be a starter and is not here because he's injured. I mean, it's been a little bit of bad luck as well. Isan Diaz would be a punch too, a good lefty there to have in the middle of the lineup. He can hit the ball. Lewin Diaz couldn't hit the ball like we expected. Harrison hasn't hit the ball like we expect either. It's been one of those things. I mean, they're moving pieces, but they still have to find those. Sanchez should be helpful in the future as well. And that should be it. That was a quick inning by Boxberger. Like
Yep.
we said yesterday, you should have brought those guys yesterday, and we would have been up.
That's right.
1-0 in the series.
Plan was, I mean, we said it yesterday, right? Blyer and then Boxberger. That was the obvious choice. I don't know why Mattingly didn't do that yesterday.
Yeah.
But
So
listen, to go with what you were saying, most of those names that you mentioned, they're all really, really young, right? So if one or two of those hitters can really develop, really take the next step, if Isan Diaz is the real deal at second base, obviously the jury is still out on him, but if he can be a power bat, if Lewin Diaz can turn the corner and become a reliable bat, and then one of those outfielders that the Marlins have, turns into a big time bat in the lineup, you're adding that to Cooper and to Brian Anderson and Jesus Aguilar and some of these other dependable bats in the lineup, Miguel Rojas. Then you look at that lineup and you start to feel a little bit better about what it is, for the Marlins. But like right now, they've gotten very little from Corey Dickerson. I mean, he hit the big homer against the Chicago Cubs, obviously, but he didn't have the best year. I mean, they've got him on a 2-year deal. I mean, he only hit 258 this season with 7 homers and 17 RBIs. He needs to be able to produce more than that. And then beyond that, like John Birdie's a utility guy. Magnus Sierra's probably a 4th outfielder. Brinson hasn't proven the ability to be anything more than 4th outfielder at this point.
if that.
Yeah, Joyce again is another, like he's a pinch hit. He's a lefty bat off the bench. He's not a regular everyday starter. But these are the guys that the Marlins are rolling out there, right? And obviously Chad Wallach, again, a backup catcher. So you look at this lineup. There's holes all through the lineup. It's gonna take guys getting on base and then somebody coming up with a big hit. At this point, it probably needs to be a 3-run homer. But there's some obvious holes in this lineup, and again, missing Marte hurts quite a bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mattingly tries to shake things up for tomorrow. If he goes with Alfaro. The Braves are going with Kyle Wright tomorrow. He's
I mean, you have to give Chisholm the chance or some different bats there that haven't been able to start to see if something happens. Why not? They're going with Will Smith for the 8th inning. It's going to be Corey Dickerson starting the inning for them, John Birdie, and then, well, that was quick, and Jesus Aguilar. So first pitch at that bat again.
Yeah, that's Corey Dickerson going up the middle, but Dansby Swanson couldn't control it. It should have been an out. It's probably going to be an error, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Listen, of all the guys in the bullpen, the one that they can get to is this guy. Will Smith was the Braves' sort of most inconsistent reliever this year. I mean, he was pretty good against the Marlins, but the Marlins got their run yesterday off of Will Smith, if I remember correctly. So there's an opportunity here for the Marlins, especially leadoff man on. Wow, Birdie swung at the second pitch of the inning, so and it drops in for a hit.
There you go. So I guess that's the plan, right?
Nah, but they threw out Dickerson at second base.
Oh my God, what was that about?
Yeah, so it was a pop up, and it was close to the line and right, and Markakis let it drop, or he couldn't get to it, and so Dickerson, he kind of hesitated, but Markakis got it right on the hop and threw out Dickerson.
That's a terrible read right there, because
it's terrible. Like that is a huge mistake, a huge base running error. You're down 2. You have an opportunity to start an inning with 2 guys on, and you get thrown out trying to advance to the base. I mean, that's a tough spot there. I mean, like I said, Dickerson has not been good this year, and It's, he was caught in between. I don't know if you saw the replays. He's kind of.
I'm watching it right now. He went back right like when the ball's dropping on his feet. You have to read the outfield a little bit better than that.
Yeah, I mean, right. He's gotta put himself in better position. He's like hopping back towards first base. I mean, he's got to be able to react better than that. That's disappointing, obviously.
So that would have been 2 runners on for Jesus Aguilar, but now it's men on first with Aguilar on the plate. He still is the tying run, so hopefully he can get a hold of one here and make some damage for the Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, Aguilar's one of the guys that in this lineup that can get a hold of one. I mean, the Marlins only hit 60 home runs this year, so they didn't hit too many of them. They were on pace for more homers than they hit last year, which was nice, but still, this lineup did not use the long ball very much. So, but that was an ugly swing there by Aguilar. I mean, that pitch was way down and in.
Yeah, he was full with that pitch.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see here if Birdie tries to take second base.
I mean, he should be trying to stay away from that double play. Look, ground ball to third. Oof, that was close.
Yeah. It might be a little harder for him to go against a lefty because Smith has him like right in front of him. He can hold him a little bit better, I would guess. But Birdie tried to go the last time when Brian Anderson was up, and then Anderson got plunked in the back.
Right.
Oh, man. Aguilar gets struck. He strikes out on a pitch in the dirt. This is not good baseball right here. Between what happened with Dickerson and then this at bat from Aguilar, I mean, that was not good. That was an ugly swing, an ugly at bat, and just like that, the Marlins should have had something going, and they don't.
It's up to Garrett Cooper now. Our last hope in this 8th inning.
No, Brian Anderson.
I'm sorry. So Brian Anderson, and well, even better because Anderson's been kind of hot now, and hopefully he can get another one today.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. I mean, that's the silver lining in these 2 games, right? That Brian Anderson has been able to kind of break out of that funk that he was in to end the season. I think he only had like 4 hits over his last almost 30 at bats. So if they're able to, if he's able to extend this inning, then they'll have Cooper, who again has been pretty good for them throughout the year. But you expect more from the veterans like Dickerson and Aguilar. That's
and Joyce. You can add Joyce to that.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, I mean, you expect more from Dickerson. I mean, you can't get thrown out, not with that opportunity. When your offense is dead in the water, they have the chance to string together a couple hits, and he blows it on the base pass, and then Aguilar follows that up with a terrible at bat, a terrible strikeout, and all of the momentum that they could have had against a reliever that isn't the best reliever out of the bullpen. It's all that momentum's gone.
Yeah,
it's really frustrating to watch. And Brian Anderson taps it right back to Will Smith, and the inning is over. So, not great.
Not great. So after that error by Swanson, what could have been a door open there for the Marlins, what could have been a base hit for Birdie, ended up with the first out of the inning on second, strikeout for Aguilar, and a grounder to the pitcher by Brian Anderson. And that's it. That's the 8th inning for the Marlins. So no runs and still 2-0 for the Atlanta Braves after 7.5 at Minute Maid Park. It's been frustrating today on the hitting part. It was frustrating yesterday with the pitching, and today it was a little frustrating with the way they're hitting against this Braves arms. And now it's gonna be up to the pack. But it's the what's coming now is not the best part of the lineup. But even maybe they bring Chisholm or Alfaro or whatever, and maybe we can do something. But first we have to get these 3 outs and give the guys the opportunity to come back.
Yeah, listen, Dickerson gets that base hit there. Well, not a base hit. I mean, he reaches on the error. I wonder why Mattingly didn't pinch run with Monte Harrison right there. Monte Harrison would not have been thrown out.
Bueno, primero que todo,
que puedas adelantar. ¿Cuál es la estrategia?
Is that from you?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you hear? I just heard a bunch of Spanish.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
But what do you think? I mean, should he have pinch run with Monte Harrison right there for Dickerson?
I mean, yes, I would have. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a hard decision because you want to use Harrison for the tying run, right? You want to save that guy for the tying run, and it looks even worse now that he got thrown out on second. Maybe if he was on second with no outs, you go with him right away so he scores on any ball that's hit to the outfield. But it's just a bad. You can bring that on Mattingly. That's just a bad call from Dickerson, bad running, and that's it.
Yeah, that was a terrible read, you know. But again, in retro, he had that weapon. He had Harrison there, and you know, that's been the thing that has kind of kept Harrison at the major league level at this point, right? I mean, I know that we've got injuries and stuff like that, but the fact that he was able to turn into such a weapon on the base paths and to be so good defensively, you know, he's an upgrade over Corey Dickerson out there. We see him go in for Corey Dickerson defensively all the time. You know, so maybe a missed opportunity there for Mattingly, but it's definitely on Dickerson more than Mattingly. I mean, you can't. I mean, how different is that inning? How different is that inning if he gets to second base and now all of a sudden you've got two on, nobody out, and the heart of your lineup coming up? That's tough. Looks like Mattingly's going with Brandon Kinsler here.
Yeah, so it would have been a good rally to start the 8th, but instead we're still down 2. And it is Brandon Kinsler. We have to remember you guys that, or remind you guys that he hasn't pitched since when? Since the last game against the Cubs. So that was on Friday, right?
Yeah, it's been a few days. So he's rested. You know, and the thinking here for Mattingly is they can't get any more runs.
Yeah,
you know,
not to. You have to keep it there.
Yeah,
and give your offense a chance to come back in the 9th inning. So Brandon Kinsler, our closer, it's so bad, man. Like yesterday, we could have had Blyer, Boxberger, and Kinsler like they did today, right? And it would have been beautiful. But it is what it is. That's baseball. And we just look at that number 3 where that was a ball, and the umpire. This umpire hasn't had the best of the afternoons today.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't been very good. I mean, it's one of the more frustrating parts of this season, right? The inconsistency with balls and strikes. I mean, I'm sure that, you know, it's always been an issue, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But it feels particularly bad this year.
And it's even harder for guys that are not hitting the ball. So if you're struggling and you're trying to get on base however you can, and you get a bad call, and so the count just goes from 3-1 to 2-2, it's a different feeling, and you're all over the place. It's a combination of things.
Yeah, and then it seems to feed on itself, right? I mean, we've seen it with Rojas today. He should have had a walk, but then in his very next at bat, he takes called strike 3, but he's complaining to the umpire after that. They keep showing the Markakis play. I mean, looking back at this replay, I mean, Markakis makes a great play, right? I mean, he barehands the ball, he throws a strike to second base, but still, if you're a base runner in that spot, you cannot be thrown out trying to advance to the base. I mean, that's a tough spot. And he didn't, like, Markakis didn't do that on purpose. Like, he didn't let the ball drop on purpose. You don't swap out Birdie for Dickerson on the base paths.
No, that he was just playing deep. I don't know why he was playing so deep with Birdie hitting.
Yeah,
he was playing deep. And the thing is, this Marlins team has been so aggressive in the base path throughout the year that you expect, you know what, take the chance. If Markakis dives and makes a great play and he doubles you off on first base, so be it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. I was being aggressive, and that's it. Maybe we complain, but you know what? Just stick to the plan, which is be aggressive on the base path. And that was not the case. Dickerson was all over the place. He didn't hit the ball. He didn't know where his outfielders were, because if you know where your right field is, he's on third in that base hit.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of basics and fundamentals of being on first base and knowing your outfield is, knowing or reading the outfielder and reading the ball also as it goes, as it travels. So it's just a little bit of different details there.
Yeah, it's too bad. Looks like Ronald Acuna is going to step up here with a runner on. Austin Riley got a single that just got out of the infield, just got over the head of I think of Birdie. He made a pretty high jump at it, but he couldn't quite get it. So it'll be interesting to see here if Ronald Acuna does anything productive in this ball game, because if you saw his tweet yesterday, they
Sorry, I lost you for a second.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that my internet's kind of going in and out. Acuna has followed up his tweet, they have to hit me because they can't get me out tweet with 3 strikeouts. So,
Yeah, that was a great performance by Pablo. He got him swinging on changeups all afternoon. It was crazy. And I know that's why you have to be as a professional in general, but especially in baseball, it's so hard to hit the ball. When you do it, you don't go on Twitter or on social media just to talk about it. You just enjoy, like Freddie Freeman does. Freddie Freeman kills the Marlins even more than Acuna, and Acuna just got struck out again.
I mean, listen, the Marlins lost, but that feels nice, right? That feels nice to have that crybaby of a baseball player. I mean, listen, he's a lot of fun to watch, right? If he was on my team, I would love it. But between him, his reaction to getting hit by a pitch, and I understand the frustration.
Yeah.
But his reaction and then trying to spike Miguel Rojas with his slide into second base. It looked pretty dirty, and then to say what he said on social media, with the bat flip, talking about how he's making no apologies and all that stuff, and then to follow that up with 4 strikeouts, that's nice to see if you're a Marlins fan. Talking about silver linings in this one.
Yeah, and you know what? It's something, right? At least one win in this series.
But
I guess we didn't notice it yesterday during the live thing, because I was talking to Christian. I didn't notice it live. I saw it after the game when I was checking the notes and everything and people's opinions on what happened with our Alcantara or the bullpen or whatever. And I saw the replay, and I'm like, I'm surprised Rojas didn't say anything louder in that situation to Acuna, right? Because
he turned and he said something to him.
But it didn't go way farther than that. It's just something between them and very short to it.
But listen, that's Rojas, right? I mean, even when he hit the home run yesterday, he just, he goes about his business. But Rojas was upset. He said something to him. And then, but then Acuna immediately turned around and walked away or jogged off the field, so it's, it was something that it happened really quickly. Right. So, there's that or whatever, but, it's just, I guess that's the give and take when you play with emotional players like that. I mean, it's exciting, obviously, right? You see players like Acuna and Fernando Tatis Jr. and some of these other young guys, Juan Soto, that play with such energy and passion. You really like to see it, but it's part of the game, So it's just one of those things. I mean, he's a great player, obviously. But to follow his social media tirade with a 4 strikeout performance doesn't look great on his end.
Yeah, for sure. We have some messages here about the Acuna thing. It says bat flip was fine, but everything else was ridiculous. Marlins fans be like, Acuna is just good, get over it. And then Jarhead Smith says Acuna is only 22 years old. He's going to be lining up the helpless Marlins for years to come. It'll be fun to watch you eat those words. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he is a good player. There's no doubt about that. And I'm fine with the bat flips too. I enjoy watching those bat flips, right? Especially when it's my team doing the thing. I mean, the Marlins haven't been a home run hitting team in a little while, but and it's part of the game, and it's something that you enjoy watching. But there's a little bit of a of a double standard is the wrong term, but he's pissed that he thinks that they're trying to hit him on purpose, but then he goes in sliding, trying to spike the shortstop as he's sliding into second base. I mean, that's childish. And his little tantrum trying to walk out there to the mound holding the bat. I mean, I understand that there's frustration there, but it's not necessarily the way that you're supposed to deal with that sort of thing. I mean, obviously he hit a big home run yesterday. He scored. He had a good game yesterday, but again, he went on to social media. He started running his mouth on social media, and then he came back with a 4 strikeout performance. So, that probably speaks to his youth, though. That probably speaks to the fact that he's 22 years old and he's been in the league for what, 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, 2.5. Well, yeah, he came a couple of years ago, but he came up like in May. He was a May call-up or something like that. Our friend Lucas Frank says, "I like you to be in the MLB. See how many times you strike out." Well,
listen, I would strike out every single time.
And me too. I wish I was in MLB. I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. I would be there playing. I wouldn't be complaining about Acuna doing whatever he's doing right now. I'll be in the field and believe me, making a lot of more money than what I'm doing right now.
Definitely.
So it's the 9th inning for the Marlins. It's gonna be Mark Merlinson. He worked yesterday, just 9 pitches to get the 9th inning, so he's ready for today.
Yep.
And today we do have a safe situation, so we'll see. It's the last 3 men up for the Marlins, and we'll see what happens now with our guys. Who's coming? Let me see. Wallach was the last out, right?
No. It should be.
I think lost now.
It should be what? Cooper, Joyce, and Rojas.
Cooper, Joyce, and Rojas. So, I mean, you have to leave Cooper. He's going to hit. Joyce is a lefty against a righty. I mean, I don't think he's going to bring Harrison or Chisholm for Joyce. And Rojas has been one of the best hitters in the series, so I don't think he's going to take him out either.
Yeah.
So maybe if he gets to Brinson, you can take him out and bring Chisholm.
I doubt it. I mean, he's probably going to roll. Like the only move that he would make at this point, I would imagine, would be swapping Alfaro for Wallach if it gets that far.
Yeah.
When
it gets that far, because it's going to happen. Frank Almanzar says it would look so bad on Acuna if Marlins wins this game. Well,
yeah,
it's not happening right now, so nobody's going to talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, Melanson has been really good this year. He's been particularly good against the Marlins. I mean, he's only given up in the regular season. He gave up 2 hits to the Marlins. One of them was to Aguilar, and one of them was to Lewin Diaz, who isn't isn't on the NLDS roster. Is 2.78 ERA on the year. He had 11 saves this year. I mean, he's been a good pitcher. He doesn't have overpowering stuff, so it's he's not like your typical closer that throws 100 miles an hour. It's one of those things. If the Marlins can string a few hits here together, they could be in some business. But obviously, it's not starting well with Cooper hitting a soft over to short.
I mean, it's been a rough day for the Marlins.
Yeah. I mean, this offense has not been able to do anything. Not able to do anything. I mean, they've got 3 hits on the day. They should have had a 4th, but Corey Dickerson's base running blunder erased a hit for John Birdie and any chance that the Marlins had in that inning. It's down to Joyce and Rojas here in all likelihood.
Well, Joyce took that pitch this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good question. If you have him in the post game Zoom call, that's a good question. Why being so aggressive against a guy like that? But
yeah. I mean, you wonder. You wonder. I mean, I guess I don't know what the thinking was there. You would imagine he would force O'Day to make a pitch.
Yeah, I guess he was trying to fish a fastball down the middle, I guess, and get an extra base or something, being aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thinking there is O'Day would probably have needed, like, he wanted to get ahead in that spot. So he was probably looking for something that he could turn on. O'Day probably didn't expect him to swing at that first pitch. But Joyce is got the count even 2-2 here, being a little patient. I mean, Melanson's got some crazy stuff. He's got that knuckle curve. He's got a splitter. So his stuff moves quite a bit. Joyce is going to have to be patient here.
You see, this is the type of at bat that he should have had in that situation.
Oh, absolutely.
Patient, selective, and then whatever happens. But
no, absolutely. Force O'Day to make the pitch, but it does not go well, as he looks like he strikes out here based on the game cast.
Oh, let's take that out. I'm watching the game, so I'm behind you and the game cast.
Oh, yeah, the game cast showed the strikeout probably about 20-25 seconds before I got to see it on my iPad.
So that was a low cutter. Let's take him out of here so you guys don't miss the last what happens when Rojas gets a base hit, and then who's coming after Rojas?
After Rojas, it would be Brinson.
Brinson gets a home run, or whoever comes for Brinson.
If Rojas can get on board here, and then Brinson hits a game-tying home run, that would be the ultimate vindication for Lewis Brinson this year. I mean, that would be something.
I think it's way, way, way more probable that the Miami Heat comes back from the 3-1 against the Lakers.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. That was a tough one last night for the Heat. I mean, that game was right there. Just like this one for the Marlins, the game was right there. This was a great performance by Pablo Lopez and the pitching staff. The bullpen was awesome. I mean, the Braves got a hold of 2 pitches. 2 pitches is the difference in this one.
Yeah. And they were not bad pitches either. So
no, they weren't. I mean, listen, the Braves lineup is full of good hitters, right? And both of those hits, I mean, they were bombs.
Yeah.
But the Marlins offense has fallen asleep here at the worst time.
So it's
and Rojas grounds out to end the ball game.
Ground ball to second base. So the Braves take game 2 of the National League Division Series. 2 homers by Dansby Swanson and Travis d'Arnaud, and a great performance by Ian Anderson to lead the Braves to take this win. And let's go and do our post-game show real quick. The third team in MLB history with 3 shutouts in the first 4 postseason games. This Atlanta Braves. Great job by the pitching. I mean, we've talked about the offense, but if you look at it, the Braves have only won 1 game in this postseason with just offense, and that was the first game of this series. The rest of them have been a lot of good pitching and timely hitting, and that's what happened today. A couple of homers, like David was saying before, and it hurts. The Marlins pitching did what they were supposed to do, which was holding this team to few runs and give the bats the opportunity to be in this series. And Pablo did it. The entire bullpen did their job. Blyer when he came, Boxberger, and then Kinsler. And it's too bad because the Marlins are down 2-0 in the series now.
Yeah, this was literally the game that the Marlins were hoping for, right? Their pitchers to go out there, for Pablo Lopez to go out there and to pitch as well as he did. I mean, yeah, he gives up the 2 home runs, but again, they weren't bad pitches. That was just great hitting by Dansby Swanson and Travis d'Arnaud. And then Travis d'Arnaud is absolutely on fire, right? He's maybe the hottest hitter in their lineup. But to limit this lineup to 2 runs, to limit them to 4 hits on the game, I mean, this is a dominant offensive lineup, and the Marlins pitching staff were able to keep them to 2 runs on 4 hits. I mean, you cannot ask for anything more from this pitching staff. I mean, this Braves lineup averages 5.7 runs per game in the regular season. That was the second most in the MLB. They were so good. And then, to turn around and to give up 9 runs yesterday and to give up 2 runs here today, to limit the superstars in this Atlanta lineup. I mean, they strike out Acuna 4 times. Freddie Freeman was 0 for 4. Ozuna was 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Albies was 0 for 3. Duvall was 0 for 3. I mean, these are the big names that you worry about, right? And then, but Travis d'Arnaud gets a hold of one there. Dansby Swanson obviously was the go-ahead home run early. You can't fault the Marlins pitching staff for this. I mean, Blyer was great. Boxberger was great. Kinsler was great coming out of the bullpen. Those guys were really, really sharp and solid. It's on the offense today. It was on the veterans in that lineup that could not come up with the big hit. Just too many mistakes, too many opportunities squandered.
Yeah, and we'll go over those opportunities because they were there, and especially in 3 particular innings, 2 against Anderson, and then later on against the relief pitching. So it was 1-1-2 pitch, a fastball in that Swanson hit out, and that, I mean, credit to him because he got his hands through and could hit that ball very hard, and it was way out of here in Minute Maid Park. And then something similar happened with the Travis d'Arnaud at bat. It was a 2-0 count, but it was a changeup inside that it would have been a ball. It could have been a ball, and he just hit it out of the park, and that was it. That was the only damage that the Braves had today, and the Marlins missed in the first inning. It all started bad because I know you didn't see it, but Corey Dickerson swung at a ball that was up like at his face at a 3-2 count. That was the first out of the game. And that inning, the Marlins left 2 on. Gary Cooper hit a good line drive to right field, but it was right straight to Markakis. So that was the first opportunity. The second one was with bases loaded. Ian Anderson was out of the game. Darren O'Day had to come in the 7th inning, and he hit Brian Anderson. He walked Gary Cooper. We had bases loaded, 2 outs. Our favorite situation, right, with scoring position, guys in scoring position and 2 outs, and Matt Joyce had a rookie at bat, but not a Major League Baseball rookie at bat. A little ball rookie at bat, just swinging at the first pitch after a guy hit a guy. The pitcher hit a guy and walked another guy in 5 pitches. He grounded out to first base. Those were the first 2, right? And the third one just killed our hearts with the error starting the inning. Corey Dickerson gets on. Birdie somehow hits a blooper to right field. Marquez was playing way deep. I guess they were playing no double defense. Sometimes they do this. Yeah, sometimes they do this to try to avoid, especially with a fast guy like Birdie, try to avoid him to get to second. And the ball drops, and like we were saying before during the game, I know it was a hard call because it could have been 50-50. You go too far, Marquez catches the ball, and maybe he doubles you off on first, and then you did it worse. But if you know where the outfielder is, if you see the ball and then you read the outfielder, that's all you need to make the decision, even before the ball drops. And even that, when you see the replay, you see that as the ball is dropping, Corey Dickerson is going back to the base. So there was no chance, and especially with Marquez, he did a great job, like you said. He grabbed the ball. It was a one hop. He grabbed it and threw a bullet to second base, and props to him for that throw. But if you read the ball properly, you have one man on first and second with no outs. What came after that was just 5 straight outs with nothing to compete by the Marlins, and that's it. The Braves are up 2-0 in the series. And here's the thing: tomorrow we have Sixto Sanchez, right? And Sixto Sanchez is going to be here against the wall, and pressure's on. So and you're going to demand a top effort by Sixto Sanchez. A lot of pressure on him, but a lot of pressure on the offense too. Which do you think? Let's go and talk a little bit about the offensive side, because only 3 hits today by the Marlins.
Yeah.
Do you think Madeline is gonna mix the lineup up for tomorrow?
I think he has to at this point. I mean, the Marlins are 0-2. They lose tomorrow. That's it. The season's over, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, there's nothing to lose, right? The obvious change to make is probably Chad Wallach sitting and Jorge Alfaro getting in the ball game, right? If nothing else, you want to give Jorge Alfaro the taste of postseason baseball.
Yeah, for sure. No, he deserves it too, of course.
Yeah, and Chad Wallach has started probably like 6 or 7 games in a row. I mean, I know there was some off.
He needs a rest anyway.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I would go with Alfaro if I were him, just to get another potential bat in the lineup. I mean, he hasn't been great this year, right? I mean, he hit like I think it was 228 or 226, something like that. He had a couple homers, but the offense needs to do something. This was a winnable game for them. And when you look at the veterans and the veterans that made mistakes specifically in this ball game, it really, really hurts, right? So all 3 guys, the 3 veterans that the Marlins brought in this year to help them in these situations specifically, they weren't the ones that came through, right? So if you look at Matt Joyce, right, bases loaded against a pitcher who was struggling. If you look at the 2 counts prior to Joyce, the 2 at-bats prior to Joyce, right? So he throws 4 pitches to Brian Anderson. 3 of them were balls, including the one that hit Anderson. He throws 5 pitches to Garrett Cooper. 4 of those 5 were balls. So to jump on that first pitch, you wonder if that was the right play there. I mean, he probably assumed that O'Day would try to pump in a fastball to get ahead in the count. Yeah. O'Day went with a slider, and Joyce did nothing with it, right? So that was a missed opportunity for the veterans, right? And then there was another opportunity. Obviously, we talked about you talked about the mistake, the base running mistake by Corey Dickerson. It's a huge mistake to make. I mean, if you look at the replay, you mentioned he was leaning back. I mean, he was hopping back to first base, right? And it's a great play by Marquez. I mean, he fielded the ball cleanly, but completely missed opportunity, right? We should have had runners at first and second there with nobody out. And then to follow that, Jesus Aguilar has maybe the worst bat that I've seen all season long from him.
It was pretty bad, yes.
He swung at 2 sliders that were so far out of the zone. The strikeout pitch bounced in the dirt. I mean, it was ugly, ugly, ugly there, particularly in the 8th inning for the Marlins. And it's a missed opportunity. So you wonder about where Mattingly goes next, right? I mean, he's limited without Starling Marte. I think the only change that you make is Alfaro in there at catcher, because Kyle Wright, who's going to start for the Braves, he's a righty, and typically Mattingly goes with Joyce versus righties and Brinson versus lefties. I mean, so I would imagine that Joyce is probably in there tomorrow, although maybe you go with Brinson just to mix it up. Sierra, he didn't do anything today, but he was productive in game 1. So yeah. Sierra probably should be in the lineup against the righty. But I would think about maybe putting Joyce on the bench and giving Brinson a shot. At this point, somebody needs to make a big play offensively for the Marlins. And I mean, the good thing is they're facing Kyle Wright, somebody that they've had some success against.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about the future, you might as well give Harrison or Brinson the opportunity to play right now. And you know what? It's postseason experience. There's no fans, there's no nothing, but still, it's the opportunity to be there. And why not just give the guys a chance? The series 2-0 is not like Joyce is killing the ball right now. And going back to that at bat, if Joyce is somebody like Freddie Freeman or Juan Soto or one of those guys, you know what? If you swing, that's fine. I know it's very probable that you're gonna get a base hit somewhere in those swings. But Matt Joyce, I would expect more experience at bat there. But anyway, it's been frustrating. The first game for the pitching, the second one for the offense, and now we'll see what they do. They don't have a lot of options either. Without Starling Marte, the depth of this team is not as good. Sean Rodriguez, you have him here just in case something happens.
He's an emergency catcher. Like, he's there. Yeah. He's not, and he didn't do anything during the year. I mean, it was weird that they put Rodriguez on the roster. I mean, I would have considered maybe keeping Lewin Diaz, although Diaz can only play first base, and then you already have Cooper and Aguilar, so that's probably the move why they put in Rodriguez instead of Lewin Diaz. But I mean, listen, the good thing is, the Marlins have played really well with their back against the wall, right? Obviously, with everything that happened to this team, tomorrow the season's quite literally on the line. You win and you get to keep playing. You lose, the season's over. And they're going against Kyle Wright. Kyle Wright this season, I mean, he was 4-4 with a 5.21 ERA. Against the Marlins, he was 0-2. He started against the Marlins twice. He was 0-2. He gave up 8 earned runs to the Marlins in 7 innings pitched. So the Marlins have had success against Kyle Wright. Now, Wright was better in September. He his last few starts, I mean, he pitched really, really well against the Mets late in September. He went 6 1/3. He didn't give up an earned run there. He gave up 2 earned runs to the Red Sox and went 6 2/3 innings. So he was a little bit better to end the year. He ended on a high note, winning his last 3 starts. But the Marlins, they did get to him in the 2 times that they faced him earlier this year. So there's an opportunity there for the Marlins. I mean, I know that Kyle Wright made some changes. He started throwing his changeup a little bit more, stuff like that. So the Marlins will have to make an adjustment in that regard specifically. But you're hoping for another dynamite start from Sixto Sanchez. And he actually he went out and pitched against the Braves, but the Braves they got to him in his start too. He against the Braves, he started twice against the Braves. He gave up his first start against the Braves was really good. 6 innings, no earned runs. But in his second start against the Braves, he gave up 4 earned runs in 3 innings pitched. So, hopefully Sixto can find his form again and kind of limit this Braves lineup. And then the Marlins offense, it has to wake up. It has to wake up. There's no choice. And they're going against a pitcher in Kyle Wright that they've had success against in the past. So hopefully it turns around for the Marlins tomorrow.
Yeah, and hopefully they can get at least that win and not be a sweep. I mean, this is going to be a rivalry for the next couple of years. So you better get used to, because that Braves team is actually pretty young. Besides, if you take out, I mean, Freddie Freeman's a veteran guy already, but he's going to be there for a couple of more years. Ozuna, we don't know if he's going to come back with the Braves. But the rest of the team, if you take out Duvall and maybe Darnot, that are experienced guys as well, the rest of the team is there. So this is just the first chapter of what could be a series of long series in the postseason, and hopefully the Marlins can be up for the challenge in the next couple of years. But tomorrow we do have a third game of the series, and we do have Sixto Sanchez. It's going to be Sixto Day. In Sixto we trust, so we go and try to get that third game, and we're going to be back at 2 p.m. tomorrow to do these live comments again with you guys. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to Christian, who was here for the beginning of the game, and David, who was here with me to the end and did this post-game show for you guys. Thank you. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we're going to be doing more and more and creating more content for you guys here on 5 Reasons Sports Network. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow with more Marlins baseball.